moms that choose men over their own, the most shameful to be known. They cry and scream, but it's just a show.
Hey guys, I am on time. Actually, me or you, because I already pushed it back 30 minutes before. I played the wrong intro at first, y'all. Hey, good evening, Connie. Hey, Emery. Hey, Lanessabu. Turtle Talk. Hey, Kathy. Okay, Funky, you want to come up here with me? Because I'm going to be multitasking again. Hey, Braddy. Hey, Angel. It's good to see all y'all. Jamie. There's Funky. Wicked West, who's on time, me or you? I need to know. Okay, let me see. Stop it, Dexter. Dexter's whining, y'all. Guys, I missed I didn't cover. Okay, Funky, I'll just ask it. I didn't cover the saddest part, y'all. Day 7. That woman coming up and testifying, the officer. Oh my freaking goodness. Hey, S. Dills. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Hello. Sorry, I had to step away a minute. Hey, Loudmouth. So I haven't got to see that yet. I don't know, Reggie. Guys, I wasn't really on time. I put it back 30 minutes. So I kind of cheated. Did y'all watch the really sad part of the officer testifying? I'm about to pull it up and y'all will see who I'm talking about, so you'll be able to let me know. I was dancing and crying at the same time when they read the verdict. Oh my gosh, Jamie. I'm so happy. I was so happy too. Not even gonna lie. So happy. Where's everyone at? Who else is live? I haven't even looked on here, guys. Just Bonnie. Justin. Queen. Alright, so this girl, y'all. This officer. I want to watch her reaction. I was at work, so I missed most of it when I got off. I heard the verdict. Excuse me. Blessing myself. I know, Loudmouth, y'all. I'm so freaking happy. Hey, Chris Marie. It always just makes me... You have Paul on your TV. She's in my ear. Hey, Kelly. Guys, I did a premiere earlier. I saw you guys, some of you commenting, but you didn't click the live chat. So, I saw you. You just weren't in the right chat. Thank you guys for coming in and saying hi, though, earlier. Thank you, guys. I blessed myself. I said, bless. Hey, Mo. Mo causing trouble on the YouTube streets, y'all. Okay, I'm about to get right in because I'm going to load the dishwasher while I listen to this this officer testify, guys, because apparently Huntress, I only watched a little bit of it, but Huntress said it was heartbreaking. So I'm gonna play it real quick, okay?
The addition shall give court and jury and trial position to
Yes, sir.
this way, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Could you introduce yourself to the jury, please?
My name is Sophia Zerke,
That is the last name that I'm going to have to ask you to spell.
ᴜᴜᴜᴜ.
And I take
Go on.
thank you. I take it you are a Chatham County police officer.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with the Chatham County Police?
I have been with the Chatham County Police Department since September of 2021.
Did you work at any other police departments?
She's
prior to
beautiful,
joining
isn't
the Chatham
she?
County Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Where was that?
The Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office in Kansas.
Okay. How'd you end up coming here from Kansas?
I moved here. Being in law enforcement, it's a very stressful
Hey,
job.
Jody
so
Ann.
Georgia offers a lot to do outside of work, the ocean.
That's funny,
It's
loudmouth.
very beautiful here.
Now you're here
Hey,
today
Ryan.
because you're the first person.
Of course,
um,
Funky says she's
to find a
gorgeous.
piece
Okay,
of
I'm going to be quiet and
Yes,
listen
sir.
to her, y'all.
Now, I'd like to show you slide 8 from State's Exhibit 3, which has already been admitted into evidence. This has been introduced and admitted into evidence as a still frame from Sergeant Stewart's body-worn camera from the initial response to 535 Buckhalter Road on October 5th. Is that you there?
Yes, sir, it is.
Was this your beat that you were patrolling that day or not?
It was not. I was in beat 8 that day. This is considered beat 7.
And how did you end up there?
When there is a missing child, time is of the essence.
Moto
so
Mom!
It's all
How are
hands on
you
deck
doing?
at that point. So I went over to assist with the search.
I know.
And on this day, were you involved in canvassing the neighborhood or the woods or something like that, looking for Quinton?
Yes, sir.
So is it fair to say that you started looking for Quinton initially on October 5th,
Yes, sir.
day 1? Later, did you become involved in the search of the landfill?
Yes, sir.
How did you become involved in that?
I asked to be a volunteer to help.
Had you heard, I presume you had heard that this was a thing that was about to start happening.
Correct.
How did you hear about it?
Our department.
And were they soliciting like department-wide for volunteers or what?
I can't recall on that. I just know they asked us to be some extra hands to help.
And you volunteered.
No,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I'm sorry, love.
Being one of the first on scene, I wanted to see it through and to help in any way that I could.
And going forward from that, were you involved as a searcher at the landfill?
Yes, sir.
What day did you start on? Not necessarily the date, but like, was it the first day of the landfill search?
Yes. Yes, I was there for the first day.
And were you involved throughout?
Yes.
Was there any day that search operation was going on that you weren't there?
No, sir.
Could you have gotten out of it
No,
at some point?
we're still getting the
Yes.
bill money
What was that
ready.
like?
We're expecting
doing
it,
that
girl.
for, I don't know, 5 weeks or whatever it was.
It was a lot. It was mentally, emotionally, and
Okay, guys, I did see where she started getting really sad and it's heartbreaking. So it's about to happen. Moto Mom for 16 months.
People wanna drag you down, don't let them. Smile big, use that purpose to light. Shine, you wanna be worshipped, think they show they care. They talk cause they love you, show them what you are, stand tall and bright. Make them mad when you stay alright.
Thank you so much, Moto Mom, for 16 months. I love you so much. You're awesome. Thank you so much for always supporting me. Everyone else here, too. Sorry I didn't warn y'all with the siren. Hey, Sherry. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I've missed you. Might should try to sleep, but when I have one throwing up, I feel like I sleep with both ears wide open. Oh, no, Matt. I know that feeling. I know exactly what you mean. I'm so sorry. You can't catch a break, can you, Nomad? Mo, you the best. Friday! 2 whole months. Thank you so much, Friday. It feels like so much longer. You know I love you, Mo. I mean, Brady. I was looking at Mo's name again. I love Mo too. That's what I'm saying. It feels like so much longer. I'm doing good, Sherry Lee. Thank you for asking. I'm only on 9 months since I had to start over. Jamie, I always have to start over because I broke and my card has no money some months. You know how that goes? We feel you, Jamie. Okay, I'm going to play it, y'all. It's the sad part. If I can get back over there. Hold on.
And physically draining every single day.
Now, I'd like to draw your attention to November 18, 2022, the day that Nick Quinton was found out there. What do you remember about the morning?
From what I can recall, it was like every other morning it started out. We have a briefing, kind of talk about how the day is going to go. We get ready when we start searching. Would you like me to kind of go through, our attire, be more specific in that aspect? Or
No, we've had that with a previous
Okay.
witness. So I guess let me ask you this. In the morning, was it a normal day?
Yes, sir.
What do you remember about the point where it became not a normal day?
I was just breaking through the garbage, and then I had observed a white small object could fit in the palm of my hand. It looked like bone to me. So I remember seeing my Lieutenant Foster, because they were all on the side, and contacting him, and they came over and removed it.
I'd like to approach with what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 77.
And 77 has been admitted. Is that correct?
It has, Judge.
Okay.
That was the one.
Can you look through here and tell me if you recognize the object that you're describing?
Yes, I do.
Is that it on the first page there?
Yes, sir.
Can you pull this out and display it to the jury, please?
Yes, this is the object that I was talking about.
What do you remember happening from there?
I just remember notifying my lieutenant and then coming over and collecting it.
And then after that?
We continued to search.
And did you yourself find any more items of note?
I don't recall, because really any items that we found that we thought were potentially bones, we would put in the buckets for them to collect and to get tested. So whether or not specifically I found any other items that were tested.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing for you to
Right.
answer, right? Let me ask you this. After having been out there for weeks, going through line after line, tell me what it felt like to see that little piece of Quinton's skull and pick it up and realize what it was.
It was heartbreaking.
Was it rewarding also? I have no further questions, right?
I don't have any questions, Judge.
If I can close the door.
Look. I want y'all to look. Look at that. She looks more angry than upset. That sweet angel detective's heart's breaking, and look at this girl looking angry because she's like hurt. She's upset for her baby, and she's angry that she's upset at all. It's crazy. I know. That was heartbreaking. So yeah, that was the poll, guys. Do y'all think that Billy Joe should still face any kind of charges? I know, Kelly. Isn't that sad? It's so sad. Okay, so I wanted to watch that part, guys, because I hadn't got to watch. I watched like 1 second of it. And then there was one more thing I missed that I wanted to watch. And I'm still posting the rest of the trial days, like as quick recaps. It's so much to go through. And I had day 1 through 5 done, and the app I use made all the videos black. So I had to redo them all. And that sucked. What is this? Must be the day when Red came and testified, because they won't show his face. Closing arguments. So day 9 was closing arguments and day 10 was the verdict. Well, let's listen to some of the closing arguments. Oh no, Brady, it won't let you change it. Hey, Brady. Yeah, guys, but please hit the like button as you come in. Thank you, Grandmammy Annie, for being 34. I hope you're doing okay, Grandmammy Annie. She just got caught. Yep. She didn't think she thought she was going to get away with it like Casey Anthony, didn't she? Donna Clark, are you in here? Yes, you are. I have been talking to you. I'm losing my mind. I did see your message come up. I have not sat and read it yet, but I'm going to right after we're done with this. They did so good in closing arguments. Ooh. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of all the detectives and everyone that had part in the trial. They did so good. They did such a good job. You can tell that they worked really hard on this and that they really cared for that baby. Much more than Leilani ever did. Hey, Total Cutie. Thank you for hitting the like. I hope you're doing good. Hey, Melly. Aw, I'm happy to see all y'all. She was hoping to put the blame on Danny. She sure was. That's true, too, that the lawyer tried. I only saw it once. I saw her lawyer try to turn it completely on Danny, and I really thought from then on out they were going to push that narrative hard. I hope you're all feeling okay. Everyone's sick right now. I have a horrible sinus infection, but I was only super sick for one day. Knock on wood. I'm feeling as good as I'm gonna feel. Oh, crud. Sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to do that. Share. Okay. He did during closing arguments. Did he really? Of course he did, Wicked West. Hey, Flying Ryan. Oh, no. See, your grandbaby got you sick, too. Well, sick. Hey, sweet Nicole. Brady, I was a little bit nervous for a little bit. I really was, but you sound like PJ was like, I told y'all. I got a little bit scared. I just got over an virus. Oh, Total Cutie, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm sorry for everyone being so sick right now. My daughter had to go to the doctor. She had a sinus infection, too. Her lawyer, the way he talked. Oh, my gosh, Kelly. The way he talked to the babysitter's daughter, that was awful. I'm going to play this while I load the dishwasher, okay? This is the closing arguments.
Last Monday, during opening statements, I made a couple commitments to you. All right, these are very basic commitments. I told you that the evidence was going to show that the defendant killed her beautiful baby boy, threw him in a dumpster, and lied about it a whole bunch of times while law enforcement picked apart her multiple ever-changing stories and dug Quinton out of the window. Now, what did the defense tell you that the evidence was going to show? The defense told you that this case was going to be about rumor, speculation, gossip, innuendo, words like that. What happened after that? Well, what happened after that is that you heard from almost 40 witnesses and received almost 100 exhibits, close to 100 exhibits, all of which lead you to the inescapable conclusion that the defendant did, that she killed Quinton and covered it up. Now, that presumption of evidence, or presumption of innocence that the judge told you about at the beginning of the trial, that is gone now. That is a frame of mind that you have to adopt at the beginning of a trial so that you don't prejudge the case. Everybody's entitled to that. all of us. Right? But it is gone now. Every witness we call, every exhibit we introduce, every bit of evidence that you see has chipped away at that presumption, and you no longer have to presume her innocent. And you should not presume her innocent. She sits before you right now proven guilty. Most of the evidence in this case was anything but rumor. All of it was anything but rumor, gossip, and innuendo. Most of it was surveillance footage, GPS data, DNA, and so forth. We did call a couple of people that knew this family, knew the defendant, saw how she interacted with him. They basically told you that she hated him. But that wasn't rumor, that wasn't gossip. That was based on things that they saw and they heard. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the evidence in the case shows and how the law applies to it, because you're about to have to go back and apply the law to the facts of the case. Okay. Let's talk about evidence. Evidence is simply the means by which any fact that is put in issue is established or disproved. Evidence includes all of the testimony of the witnesses and any exhibits. You know, sometimes you'll hear people say stuff like, well, there's no evidence, there's just a bunch of people came in and said some things. Testimony is evidence. Everything that you've heard is evidence, and it all cuts against her. Evidence can be direct or circumstantial. Direct evidence is, I see my 5-year-old son under his bed eating candy in the middle of the night. That's happened. Circumstantial evidence is, I don't see it, but I find the candy wrappers the next morning. They weren't there the day before. And when I ask him about it, maybe he tells me a story about how it was actually his friend Misty or something like that. There is no legal difference in the weight that you may give to either direct or circumstantial evidence. It's all evidence, just the same. Now I'm going to start with the 204 trip as I go through the evidence and what it shows. Okay, everybody knows about the dentist, going to Cheddar's, and picking up the kids and everything. We don't need to start at 5:30 in the morning. We're going to start with the 204 trip. Because this goes directly to the state of mind that she was in when she did this. Now, she told them, and you heard her say why she went on this trip in the first place, what prompted it. And it was another argument with Danny about how he doesn't pay enough attention to her. The evidence has shown that this defendant craves attention. She needs attention, specifically male attention. She needs it like you need oxygen. That is what is going on with her.
The rest of that year, they had some sort of argument with frustrated.
Yeah, I was frustrated. It wasn't like an argument. It was more like I don't understand why you don't live community type stuff. So once again, I was going to work this. Pretty much. And the only way I could make myself get away from that and to try not to get 100% into that type of mindset was to take off forever.
She told Bridget Brock the same thing.
We talked about leaving, and I think you and Danny had an argument too, so I'm going time.
It was because of lack of sexual attention that I was getting frustrated with. There's a whole reason why I left anyways, and came up with the reason.
Okay.
When she's not getting the attention, the amount and type of attention that she feels that she's entitled to, that she craves, that she needs, it makes her feel worthless, and it puts her in a really bad state of mind. And that's what was going on tonight. And of course, it's exacerbated by the tubes and all that stuff. So at 10:22, she opens this dining room door and she goes out to the Dodge Journey. That's the only door anybody really uses coming and going from this house. It takes you right into the dining room. You come right out of the driveway into the dining room. And she goes to the Circle K, and she's looking kind of rough. Her face is swollen. She's got a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. She's not in a good way. She's in a bad way. And she buys 2 Natural Light Tall Boys and 2 cigarillos. Now, the beer might have been for Danny. That seems to be how she gets out of the house without telling them where she's going, having to run and pick up some beer. But the cigarillos, those are for her and Craig. That's who she's looking for. All right, there's messages between them in arranging these prior meetups where he's asking her to pick up rolling papers. He's talking about needing to find a room, I guess in his mom's house, I think is what he says, out on Arkwright Road, where they can find, where they can smoke. Because what she and Craig are doing at this time, what they do is they get together, they smoke weed, they kick it, and they have sex. Right? That's what the evidence shows is what was going on between them. And she has been doing this a lot in the week plus leading up to this. These are all messages from her to Craig that are in evidence, and you can see them. September 25th, 2 in the morning, on the way. September 22nd, just after midnight. Okay, I'm passing Quapo now. September 28th, 10 p.m., on the way now. October 1st, 1 a.m., I'm about to head that way probably. Just probably can only stay for a couple hours. A couple hours. These people are spending a lot of time together. October 2, about to drive over there, actually. October 2, that was in the morning. This is in the evening. About to head over there and grab his ass at 40 so he'll shut up. This is what I was talking about. The way she gets out of the house and goes over here, she tells Danny she's going to make a beer run. Now, it's not just about the sex, all right? It's that he is providing this attention and affection that, again, it's like air to her. She has to have it. He's sending her messages like, this is in the context of her complaining about Danny and how he's not giving her what she wants. Craig is sending her messages such as, don't worry, it will be okay, I got your back. And she's replying, I know you do, and I got yours all the way. This is what she needs, this is what she craves. And this is what she is looking for that night. The evidence essentially shows that Craig was like her emotional support drug dealer at the time, okay? And these are texts between her and Danny. Now, she had not told Danny that that's where she was going. She must have just mentioned the Circle K, the convenience store run. And the reason I say that is at 10:32, when she's leaving the Circle K, she tells Danny, I'm going to run to 204, I guess. He did not know that that's where she was going because he responds, oh, okay. Be safe, I guess, my queen. I will be, and I'll be quick, I promise. And she had told him that before. He says, I hope so. So now she's on the way out to see Craig. 10:36, the dining room door opens, and that's Paul getting home. Danny texts the defendant 2 minutes after that door activity. Paul showed up and was going to bed. Now, Paul told you that after he got something to eat and went upstairs, he was in the bedroom and pretty much out of play for the rest of the night. That's direct evidence. Danny told you the same thing. That's direct evidence. The defendant in her interviews said the same thing. That is direct evidence. And Paul's phone activity provides circumstantial evidence supporting this. There's this exchange between him and a coworker where the coworker asks Paul.
I hope he shows all the messages that Danny had sent Leilani, because it shows 100% that Danny cared and was trying and wanted her there with him, and went against everything Leilani was trying to say about Danny neglecting her in a relationship way.
What time you going in tomorrow? And Paul responds with a 2-digit response.
Hey, Fruit
12.
Loops.
That's at 11:40. He tells you at this point I was laying in bed and either asleep or going to sleep. And the guy sends him 2 more messages and Paul doesn't respond. That short response and then the lack of any response to those 2 following messages is circumstantial evidence that what all 3 of them told you, that he was up in his room and out of play, is true. So that's what I mean when I say all this stuff is evidence. Direct.
Put yourself out, Brady.
You can look at this stuff and tell what happened. Back to Danny and the defendant's text messages with him. 10:41, she tells him, I'm about to turn on to 204. He says, okay. And then you get this series of text messages. Now, Danny told you that he was asleep. Okay, he told you that he was asleep or close to it when she got back from 204. She said that in her early interviews when she was all in on the abduction between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. story. And it didn't occur to her that she might have to, at some point, throw Danny under the bus and pretend like he was awake. She said that he was asleep. And there's a series of, so that's direct evidence, those 2 things. Now, there's a series of messages that provide circumstantial evidence in support of that, strong circumstantial evidence. The only way to read these messages is this is a dude who just wants to go to bed and is in the process of doing that. 10:44, he says, thank you for the little bit left, baby, so sweet, no lie. Now, he was straight up with you. He told you this is a reference to a very small amount of cocaine that she had left for him. He wasn't trying to hide anything from you. And he went to sleep not long after this. And you heard from Special Agent Snyder that drugs affect people in different ways. And cocaine, in his experience, cocaine does make some people energetic, some people sleepy. It kind of depends on the individual person's physiology. And so these messages go on, but Danny just trying to get her home because all this guy wants to do is go to sleep because he's got to get up for work in the morning. And the fact that he does get up for work in the morning at 5:20 is further circumstantial evidence that he was asleep and out of play, was not involved in any way, and had no idea what she had done. 10:45, I love you. Please come back so we can crash together. 10:51, or not. 10:52, I guess I'm going to eat this food and try to stay up for a few. 10:56. I don't want to be tired, or you to be tired either. Now, there are a couple, I've taken them out. There are a couple responses from her in here, but they're like one word. They're kind of like stiff arm type responses, like, leave me alone, I'm not really talking to you. 10:57. And I know you don't feel great. I don't know how you're still up. 11:01. 1. Now, what is this message? This is a good night kiss from Danny. This is Danny giving up on it and going to sleep. I guess I'm not waking up. I'm crashing. You're doing whatever it is that you're doing. I'm going to bed. Now, what is different about this night than all the other nights involving Craig? Again, this is the guy that she's going to for the attention that she needs at a time where she's upset and in a bad state because of the tooth and because of Danny, and she wants to go there and get what she needs and praise. Unfortunately, Craig wasn't there. He told you that. It was unchallenged on cross-examination. I think Mr. Hilliard just asked him to repeat that. You weren't there? All right. And that's why she's only there for 10 minutes. She was in a bad enough state this night. This was a pop-in. There were no setup text messages like there had been on other nights. She just drove over there and tried to catch him and he wasn't there. So now she's going home. Hasn't gotten what she needed from Danny and hasn't gotten what she needed from Craig because Craig wasn't there. That was the point of the whole Craig thing, the messages and then putting them up, is just to establish that he wasn't there and he was not able to give her the male attention that she needed. It's not like a character assassination, like, hey, here's some salacious text, let's embarrass her. No, it's part of the story of that night. It helps tell the story of what happened. And so she has to settle for $80 worth of Coke and Percocet from Tim Weston, who also lives out there, of the same family. She goes home and she enters that dining room door at 11:13 p.m. You saw all the GPS and everything. It all lines up with this. We don't need to look at that anymore. I think you all got it on the GPS stuff. This is like 15 minutes after Danny's last text to her. The dude is asleep or close to it. And so she's the only one who's up.
I really like this lawyer right here, guys. But we've heard the timeline. I really want to hear this clown try to talk it down from Leilani. That's what I want to hear. I'm just right here at the dishwasher, guys. I'm just loading the dishwasher. Tomorrow we have an event at church and I have to make a bunch of those Jello no-bake strawberry little cheesecakes. So I got to get everything ready to make those before I go to bed. Aw. Grandmammy, you're so sweet. Thank you for being here and watching. She's such a liar. He took on the responsibility of her kids so she could do whatever she wanted to. I agree with you, Kelly. 100%. All right, let's hear what he says. If you guys haven't watched it yet, I know a lot of you have, but I want to hear what he tries to argue.
Are the perfect jurors for this case. We're not asking you to set aside your life experiences. We're not asking you to set aside your feelings or anything like that. You were selected for who you are and your unique experiences by both me and the state of Georgia. In that regard, you are the perfect jury to consider this case. Now, and I say that during the course of this, there is nothing personal between Mr. Dean or Ms. Parker or myself or Mr. Purse or Ms. Lemons or any of the witnesses. But it's an adversarial system, okay? I am their adversary. It is my job to stand up and defend my client, Ms. Simon's rights. And it is my job to hold the state to their burden of proof. I don't take that task lightly. And it's been my job to do that since we began. Now, what happens next is I take that responsibility and I turn it over to you. And I'm going to start with my biggest fear. And my biggest fear is this case deals with so much emotion. It has from the beginning. I don't think that's an overstatement or an understatement. And I know there were times during the course of this trial where every single one of us felt something deep down inside of us. On more than one occasion, we've seen witnesses break down, seen jurors break down. It's a serious matter. But the law gives us guidance on what we're supposed to do when that happens. When it comes to emotion, the law says that the case must not be side-decided.
When he just reminded everyone about what his job was that makes me feel like a little bit like, don't come at me. This is my job. Like low key. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what we've been saying the whole time. Like, I cannot stand these guys, but we know it's their job, so. Oh, no, mad.
For or against anyone because you feel sorry for anyone or you're angry at anyone. Your verdict is to be based on evidence. It's not to be based on emotion. And in times during the course of this trial, the emotion was directly pointed at you. How could it be otherwise? And I think that it's important for all of us to acknowledge that. There were things that were done to draw your emotion up, to play upon your emotions, to manipulate and twist your emotions. Things to get you angry, things to get you upset, things to dehumanize Miss Simon. Things to get you to make judgments about her that have nothing to do with the evidence in the case. Now, I wasn't the one doing this, but these things were done. And to pretend that they were not is just not accurate. You heard a lot from witnesses. And I'm going to talk about, there's basically 4 types of witnesses. And I like to identify them because it's up to you to determine, just like Mr. Dean said, the manner and method of testifying, what type of witnesses they are. As a defense lawyer, I basically put them down into 4 different types. Number 1 is a police witness. Police witness can be unbiased or biased. It basically depends. I mean, to be quite fair, a police witness is paid government money to investigate and prosecute crimes. Some of them think they have to put their fingers on the scales. Other ones don't, but they're police witnesses. That's kind of one of the first categories I put them in. The second one is a civilian witness. Of course, that's an easy one. Bernard Johnson, Waste Pro, those guys. They're just a civilian witness that get called into the investigation. Paul Simon.
What do you mean, Melissa? I could not be a defense attorney either. Nope. No way, Jose. She definitely didn't need help being defended. Do you mean that she didn't show any emotion and she just did not care until she got charged? Got found, until she was found guilty, and then she cried. I'm going to play it a little bit. Let's see if this is too fast.
Simon, one of my personal favorite. A civilian witness. Ms. Bowling, civilian witness. Then there's what I call like a fact witness, someone that you would normally never hear from, but they just have some sort of fact to give. They can be civilian or they can be police. In this particular case, I would say any of the forensic examiners kind of fall in that category. And the final one is what I basically would call a sock puppet. A sock puppet witness is somebody, and it's usually a police investigator or someone like that, who basically gets up and wants to parrot what the state's theory is. Now, in this particular case, emotions were very high. I don't think that's an extravagant statement. And a lot of the witnesses are going to say, well, this didn't conform to normal, or this wasn't right, or basically, she reacted differently.
Oh, Wicked West, that makes sense.
That's not what the law calls for.
Y'all,
The law calls for
I'm going to remind y'all, I was sick this day. I slipped. I didn't.
And the reason it's my biggest fear you're going to base it on emotion or something that's not completely at all relevant
for the first
to
time
the
with
issue
you guys, and hearing it for the first time with you guys.
It's difficult to push these feelings aside. It's difficult to put this
Of course
prejudice
he did,
aside. And it's difficult to look at evidence, especially in a case dealing with a dead 20-month-old.
No
I
matter
cannot think of a harder case to do it in. Now,
not fun.
Quinton Simon was a sweet,
much
innocent
more
child. I don't think anyone said anything different.
soul feed, like.
He died far too young. I don't think anyone said anything different. And if I have, to any extent that you maybe thought that's where I was going with that,
what they're doing,
I apologize.
Go home and
I never, ever meant to come across that way, and I don't think that I have. There's no doubt about these two things, and no one in here disputes it.
Oh, Brittany, I know.
But to parade witnesses up here, witness after witness, basically they're going to testify for the state, and to make this argument that in some way, shape, or form, who Miss Simon was having sexual affairs with was in any way, shape, or form relevant to the question of how Quinton Simon died is just horrendous. It's meant to evoke an emotional response from you. We said at the beginning that most, if not all of the state's case was based upon speculation and character assassination. I believe those are the exact words Mr. Peirce used. And we sat here for an hour and 28 minutes and listened to Mr. Dean say exactly that. Now, this was their strategy from the beginning. They can pretend that they did something. I'm not saying that the task was Herculean, obviously, to search the landfill. I learned more about landfills than I've ever wanted to know in this case. But the state made a misstatement in its closing. I asked Mr. Johnson on cross. There were 1,500 loads of trash in that landfill from all over Chatham County and surrounding counties. They pretend like there wasn't other places this could have come from. And the reason why is because they have to. I asked Mr. Youngkin a lot of questions. Mr. Youngkin, quite frankly, the state has to believe Mr. Youngkin's testimony. Their whole theory of the case depends on it. Because of Mr. Youngkin's statement that he saw Quinton Simon at 3 a.m., saw Quinton Simon at 5:30 a.m., and then texted the babysitter and Quinton was fine, their entire theory of the case falls apart. They have to believe Mr. Youngkin. Mr. Youngkin is the best example of a sock puppet witness we have. He had every reason to get up there and say exactly what they wanted him to say. And we heard very early on, he told them that he was trying to save his own butt. And that's fine. I get it. He went so far as to wire a hotel room with video and audio and to tap his own phone to try and incriminate Ms. Simon for the police. Okay? That's Mr. Youngkin. Now, the state's strategy and the way it's presented this case has been basically to tell you, and I don't think I'm stating anything out of place here, that Ms. Simon was a slut, a party girl, someone who lies, a horrible mother, someone who didn't act appropriately as a mother. All of these things could be true more or less to some extent, but none of these things have anything to do with the central question in this case. And they still haven't answered that question with evidence.
He just dehumanized, he literally just contradicted himself by dehumanizing Danny, saying that he was there just to save his own butt. Also saying, you know, hating that, also hating on the fact that most of the testimonies came from, what did he say, civilians? Like, what would be their reason? You're going to dehumanize them too? Maybe it's the fact that Danny and also the rest of the humans that testified cared about this baby and wanted justice for him, you know? Don't y'all think Danny was there? Not just because he had to be or because y'all saw his face. I think that he wanted justice for that baby just as much as anyone else. I saw something after her, what was it? Someone saw it. They're going to have to tell me where I saw it or if it was him. Was it Danny on camera or was it just something a statement he had made and someone read it? It was during or right after the conference after the trial. And it was Danny thanking everyone. I have the hiccups, sorry guys. It was him thanking everyone for working so hard and for getting justice and saying how happy he was that it turned out the way it did. Do any of y'all know what I'm talking about? The prosecution team could have just put up the pictures of baby Quinton after he was found, and the fact that she didn't show any much to the jury probably could have just. You were absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Melissa. What is that noise? Oh, Patricia's at 2. Oh, it's my child running down. Don't get the camera. Stop. Hold on, I'll slow it down for you. No, that's quality. Sorry, my son ran down without a shirt on. I gotta stop him. Hang on, bud. All right, who's on first? What are you talking about, Ben? Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben. Hold on, guys. Let me turn off the camera and then let this play so Bryson can get what he needs on.
It's not speculation, okay? The central question in this case is how did Quinton Simon die? Where did Quinton Simon die? And in what manner did Quinton Simon die? They've charged Ms. Simon with murder, okay? That's a hell of a thing. And it's supposed to be a tall order. So I'm sorry if the burden of proof seems a little lax or inconvenient to the state, but in this particular case, they made the allegations. And here's the thing. Mr. Dean was explaining this because they really don't have any idea about any of these things. They just have their best guess. The state whole evidence with regard to counts 1, 2, and 3 comes down to their wild ass guess. That's it. Because any part of their theory and speculation that changes, it falls apart. Mr. Dean was talking about the door opening and closing. Well, he played the video for you. The first video was she said that the front door was unlocked. Okay, he spent this entire trial saying it was open. That wasn't what she said, but okay, whatever. I understand that you have to say that and you have to see it that way because your entire theory falls on that. But let's just assume for a minute that, okay, so she said it was unlocked and it was shut. Well, the back door was open and closing all night long. Okay. Now, Danny Youngkin said he went to sleep. He has to believe that Danny Youngkin was asleep. His case depends on that. Why? You've seen the layout of the room. Okay, you saw the racing bed where one child slept. You saw the pack and play where Quinton slept, and you saw where the baby slept, and then you saw where Danny and Leilani slept. It was one room, wide open. They have to have Danny asleep, and they have to have their exact timeline because to do otherwise destroys it. What happens if Danny's testimony was correct? It doesn't fit their timeline. So of course they had to go in with Danny Youngkin from the beginning. Now, they didn't come right out of the gate and show you any evidence of time, manner, method of death or anything like that because they don't have it and they're never going to have it. Now, they're asking you to use your emotion to get angry and to convict based upon that. And that's simply not proper. Now, we're at the end of a journey here that's been 2 years in the making. And the key question here is, how did Quinton die? That's why we're all here. That's really it. Was it an accident? Was it a murder? What was it? Especially as it relates to the aggravated assault, the cruelty to children, and the murder charges in the indictment. What happened to him? What is proven beyond and to the exclusion of every other reasonable doubt? Not just some, but every single one. That's the burden of proof, and they never answered those questions. In fact, there was a great deal of things you're probably looking for and never really got. For most of this, they were trying to say that October 4th was going out to 204 to see Craig. That didn't materialize. They had the text messages, which you can look at. And the thing is, I don't really understand how any relationship with Craig does anything to shed any light on how Quinton died. Unless you believe the fever dream they've come up with, that in some way, shape, or form, this has something to do with her attention seeking. And I don't get that, because if...
Okay, what does that mean? Who? Let me see. What does that mean, who's on first, y'all? Y'all better let me in on the... Why are you on your backup? Wait, is that you, Wicked West? Yeah, what does that mean? Let me in. Hey, in Stitches. Purple for Baby Q. Thank you, in Stitches. Danny lost 2 children. He was the only person that was good to Baby Q, and now he's lost his daughter. Right, Estills. I almost called you Shelly. You're right. He's hurting. We saw his face and emotions. His heart broke. How are you tonight, Rapper? It's a joke. Oh, is Rapper the backup? I'm done with y'all.
Someone is craving that much attention, and they find that attention, and they have someone that gives them that attention. Wouldn't that take away the struggle? Wouldn't that take away the strain? I don't buy that.
Juicer.
Now,
Emery,
as regards to counts 1, 2, and 3, let's talk about Mr. Dean did talk about this a little bit.
You don't buy anything that's correct, bro. We're not going by what you buy.
I don't know whether an accident happened or not. It's good a theory as any. We do know there was vomit. We do know there was an overwhelming smell of vomit. We saw Sergeant Stewart, one of the first officers to respond, refuse to go in the house on his body-worn camera when Lemons went in because of the smell of vomit. This man was a 35-year-old detective. I mean, 35-year-old police officer. He's been on the force for 35 years. Okay? He noted that. Lemons noted that. But you know who didn't know that? Danny Youngkin. Nowhere at any point in time did he ever note that. Now, I'm not saying that Danny did anything wrong. My theory is that indicates some sort of accident, some sort of suffocation. something. I don't know. But the difference is I don't have a fixed interest in the outcome there. They do, which is why they have to build this mountain out of a molehill. They don't have that evidence. They never will have that evidence. They have to depend on Danny Youngkin, because if anything changes, if he was up at 3 a.m., he said the defeat's God, and Quinton was fine.
A Halloween road
I never
trip.
explained that one.
Spooky.
If Quinton's fine at 3 a.m., like Danny Youngkin said, their favorite witness,
Oh,
then
I
the
think
1
y'all
o'clock
do it on
Azalea trip
purpose.
doesn't matter, does it? They have to believe that. They have to pedal.
Ben,
They
I'm
have
about
to
to
sell
text
it.
you
They have to
something
say
real
he was
quick.
mistaken or wasn't lying, which is always interesting.
Guys, if there was an accident, the first thing she would have
No.
done is called and said there was an accident. She wouldn't
I would
have
love to solve the case. I really would.
getting charged with murder,
But I don't have to.
in my
They do.
opinion.
I have just as many wild theories as they do. Everybody does. But I don't have to prove them. And more importantly, and this is the most important thing about that, I can have as many wild theories and stand here and tell you those theories as they do. Okay? But it doesn't change the burden of proof. It's just wild speculation, not unlike anything they've done. It doesn't change that the burden of proof lay with them. And the fact is, and they don't like to talk about this, or maybe they do, maybe they try and gloss over it. With regards to counts 1, 2, and 3, they have not come close to meeting their burden of proof. The time, manner, method of death, yeah, that's not part of the requirements, but you have to show that it happened that way. There's no evidence that it was a homicide. There's no evidence that it was murder. None. Zero. Zilch. There never will be. And that's the thing they can't talk about. Because to talk about it and to give voice to it undermines their case. But you don't have to believe me. They don't know what happened. Their indictment says they don't know what happened. The state had to concede that in their closing argument, that they don't know what happened. You cannot speculate someone into a guilty verdict, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Dean used an example, and I like this example. It's actually a pretty good example, and it cuts both ways. He was talking about...
My sweet Miss Chewy. Guys, I can't listen to this guy for long. I'm losing my mind. Sad thing is that the ones who lived in that room was used to the smells in that room. Like the vomit. Y'all are being mean. Y'all are being mean. How are you tonight, Miss Chewy? When are you going live again? Are you having a Halloween thing this year? This week? Leo King! He is boring. How much longer? No, I'm going to finish. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish loading the dishwasher. And then I'll see where we are with him after that. You're having a Halloween. So what are you going to do? Tell us what you're going to do. I'm going to get you a link and I'll share it. Guys, if y'all aren't subbed up to Miss Chewy, please go sub up to her. If you haven't watched her, she is the sweetest, most caring woman. And I'm confident that you will love it there. You'll love her. Feels like home, right? And then Wednesday, she is going on. Rapper. Okay, you scared me when you start doing one letters. Oh my gosh. Yay. So Wednesday she's having I'm guessing it's a costume party because that's usually what she does, and it's really fun. It ghosted my comment. Well, type it again if it's not bad. Oh, thank you, Millie. You're so sweet. Oh yeah, Millie too, guys. Millie's been talking about Wade Wilson. You guys go sub up to her too, if you haven't yet. She goes live a lot, and I know all of you are always getting on to me about not going live as often. When sports start, I'm always exhausted and have time for absolutely nothing. So we need a lot of people that go live often. So there's Melly and there's Miss Chewy. And Miss Chewy Wednesday, is it going to be a costume thing on your panel, Miss Chewy? Okay, I'm going to finish the dishwasher real quick, and then we'll see where we're at after that with him. Fight through it, because I want to hear it.
And well, I'll use a different example just to kind of differentiate. Circumstantial evidence. Okay, circumstantial evidence. The example we normally give in Georgia is if you're sitting in here and you walk outside and you look around, and when you walked in, the ground was dry, and you walk out, the ground is wet, then you can infer it rained, right? Makes sense. But what you can't do is walk out, see a wet ground, and infer that it's snowing in Denver. Those aren't the same things. So speculation is speculation. Inference is inference. There was no evidence. I asked Dr. Darasol if having the vomit would have made a difference in what she could and couldn't do, and she said yes. I don't control that. They do. You heard from the young lady from the forensic toxicology lab that she didn't have enough to test the vomit. Now, why would that matter? If it was a normal, literally, if it was just normal vomit, you would need to know that. He could have choked on normal vomit. If it was toxic vomit from getting some sort of poison or some sort of drugs, you need to know that.
I can't see I love being stepped on in chat, guys. If they have me blocked, they need blocked. Do y'all see them? Hey, Deb. How are you? Thank you guys for summing up to each other. Y'all know how much that helps. I love that you all care about each other. Y'all so sweet. I can't think good, y'all. I still don't feel very good. Sorry. All right, here we go.
We don't. At least she said there wasn't enough to test, and I had no reason to doubt her. But that's a lack of evidence. It doesn't cut either way. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, about the burden of proof and circumstantial evidence. When there's a tie in the evidence like that, the tie goes to the defendant every single time. It doesn't go to the state, it goes to the defendant. Now, when I was in law school, I had a professor who liked to tell this story to illustrate an example. Father takes his son to the restaurant. They're sitting in the restaurant. He says, "Here, son, draw a picture of a horse." So he draws a head, a neck, a back, 4 legs, and a tail. It's like, "How many legs does that horse have, son?" He goes, 4. He goes, "Now, what if the tail is a leg?" He goes, "Well, 5. He goes, "No, son, that's not how that works. The horse only has 4 legs. It doesn't have 5 just because I tell you that the tail is a leg. The tail is still a leg." So I can stand here and tell you stuff all day long. It doesn't make it true. Why do I say that? Well, the judge will charge you on this as well. The questions from the lawyers are not evidence. And I have to point that out in this case because there were a lot of very long-winded questions from the state. But that's not evidence. What comes from the witness stand and the exhibits is evidence. Now, why do I point that out? Daniel Youngkin was overlooked from the beginning. He started cooperating with them from the beginning. Okay? They literally did not look at him for anything.
That was the stupidest.
He made some statements to them that either, if they were true, blew up their timeline.
What do you call that?
And if they were not, were a lie and question his credibility.
No, Rapper, you're fine.
So they have a vested interest.
Well,
in
if Wicked is okay with you
so let's
having
talk
that
about
name.
him leaving. The question for you to determine is do you believe Danny Youngkin when he said that Quinton was alive at 3 a.m. when he got up to check on Scott? If you do, that blows up their case. Do you believe Danny Youngkin when he said he woke up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock to get ready to go to work, and then Quinton was fine?
Analogy. That's
and then
exactly
texted the babysitter.
what I was trying
the kids were going to
to.
stay
Where
home?
should I hide you?
If you do, it blows up their time.
Oh, Debbie.
Do you believe the statements from the witness stand that
Never mind. I'm going to be
that was all bull? And he was fed up with her, and whatever excuse he gave from the witness stand, quite frankly, because if you do, then it means he was lying before. Now, I would have asked you to think about one of the witnesses who did testify, Paul Simon. He was personally one of my favorite witnesses. But he testified exactly different than what Mr. Dean wants you to believe. He knew Danny. And he testified from the witness stand that on that day, in that yard, when they were talking to the police, Danny seemed unfazed. He didn't seem upset. He seemed unfazed by this. Now, does that mean I think that Danny did anything wrong? Not necessarily. My theory can work the same way as their theory can. Danny woke up at 5, saw something that happened to Quinton, freaked out, threw in the trash on the way to work, came home. He doesn't know anything. Does it mean he did anything wrong? No, I don't think Danny or Miss Simon harmed Quinton in any way, shape, or form. The evidence doesn't show that. I don't have any reason to speculate that. I don't have any vested interest in that particular outcome. They do. But it's in their best interest to believe that. It's in their best interest, when I say them, I mean the state, to try and sell that and peddle that. I asked Danny why he stayed here. Paul was so funny. He's like, man, that's what you signed up for. You don't like it. Because he said Danny was complaining when he got home. They forgot that part. Okay, they didn't want to mention that part because it shows Danny was unhappy. Like, man, you signed up for this. If you don't like it, leave. I asked him why he didn't leave.
His degree. Where did they find him to hire him? I thought he was court appointed, but they said that they hired Leilani or Billy Joe or whoever hired him. Guys, I have to run upstairs real quick and grab Joseph some medicine. I'll be right back. But I have it in my ear, so I'm still listening to it.
I wanted my daughter. Well, you know what? Between October 5th and October 9th or 12th or whatever the hell it was that he left Savannah, he didn't get his daughter because I asked him that question too. So the whole reason he stayed didn't matter when he left. And that didn't seem to faze them at all. But it's something I got to question. Ladies and gentlemen, emotional decisions are almost always bad decisions. Okay? You have facts on your side, argue the facts. You have the law on your side, you argue the law. And whenever you don't have either on your side, at least with regards to the first 3 counts of this indictment, you depend on emotion. And that's what they've done. I don't mean to come across sounding harsh or cynical or pessimistic. And I don't mean to imply that the feelings that you and the officers and the search team and probably millions of other people have felt about Quinton Simon are not real. They are. I just mean to point out that they're not evidence. And that's what we're here for. They have to prove through evidence. Now, you're going to have to go back into the deliberation room. You're going to have to look at the actual evidence. And you're going to have to look at the actual law. And you're going to have to come up with common sense and use your judgment and leave the emotion at the door. It's a court of law. It's about cold, hard facts. Not emotions, not feelings, not speculations. Not mine, not theirs. I can't speak for you, but I've made emotional decisions in my life, and I can tell you to about a 99% accuracy that most of those emotional decisions were wrong. Not all of them, just most of them. So you're going to have to go back there, and you're going to have to deliberate on each and every count of this indictment. You're going to have to make decisions about each and every witness.
Guys, he's asking us to forget about the baby. Paul testified that his sister didn't even wake him up and ask if he knew where Quinton was. Right? He said he woke up hearing screaming. He thought it was the normal screaming. He waited for it to go away from his window. And then he went out, he took his dog out. So that's Brittany, I didn't even think about that. Read my text. Okay, 1 second. Hey, Janelle. Wicked, I think she meant honey. No, she meant hoe. Oh, rapper's like, wait, I gotta de-escalate this quick. Deb, rappers under Wicked West back up. Wicked said it was okay. Wicked. Why isn't this guy embarrassed of himself? I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, rapper, for trying, though. You don't look for something that's not missing. You're absolutely right. As stitches, she didn't have to ask. She knew exactly where that baby was, and that was a huge, huge moment and point to point out. Golly, I can't believe I didn't even think about that when he said. I'm sure they said it, but like I said, guys, I watch these when I'm watching them with you guys. Hey, Blue Eyes, how are you, love bug? Did you have to make a new account? Because I've seen your name separated now. Yeah. So last night they were having like a hoe party or something in Jinkies. Dawn. Dawn, Miss Chewy Wednesday night, and I know you like these things, so I'm going to tell you, she is having a costume thing on Wednesday night on her channel. Yes, I did. Okay. It's okay, rapper. What was I going to do? Look at where he's paused, y'all. Look at him. He looks like Donald Duck. He looks like the Scrooge dude. Who does he look like? Oh, I was going to read my text from Brady. That's what I got to do real quick. Hold on, guys. I'm going to play this.
And then you're going to have to come up with a verdict. The reason why I say that is there is another alternative solution. I'm not surprised when a 21 and 28-year-old couple who have a child together, who are doing drugs together, lie about doing drugs together. Doesn't surprise me. It also doesn't have an inference of committing murder. Okay? That's what we're here for. That is the elephant in the room.
Rapper, are you in allegedly with Brittany J's under I Love Being Stepped On, telling them that I'm bashing Brittany because it looks like something you do, and I'm going to kick your little tail? Ben, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm not going to play the video for you because I know you say, keep going, keep going. But thank you. He looks like Mr. Burns from the Simpsons. I don't know who Simmons is, but from the Simpsons, yes. Dr. Phil, I can see so many. What's wrong with, why does he need prayers? You've been stressed. I'm sorry, rapper. But I'm still going to kick your tail. He is so kind, isn't he? Hey, Tennessee sweetheart. The defense guy looks like a... I could tell you wasn't yourself tonight, rapper. I'm sorry you're stressed, rapper. He looks like Homer's boss. He does. You're right. He does. Let me Google that before we press play again. Homer Simpson. Guys, Joseph keeps getting migraines. I'm about to take his butt. I'm about to put him in the car and take him to the doctor about migraines. I don't think it's sinuses because his eyes and nose, nothing like that's hurting. It's just sensitivity to light and stuff. There's Mr. Burns. That's his name, Mr. Burns. That's who he looks like. Let me look at him again. Oh, I've changed it. He does. There's her defense attorney. We got him now. Let me stop. He needs to keep Peppermint around. Peppermint oil. Oh, Joseph. Peppermint oil help? I don't think I have any peppermint oil. He needs to get a hand scan to make sure. A head scan. Hand scan. I know, Leo King. I'm going to make him go to the doctor. Y'all, he does, doesn't he? Oh, no. When's the sentencing happening? Rapper, what's going on, bud? What's wrong with you? Why you been down for months? Oh, gosh. Sorry, y'all. I'm just over here cracking myself up. Okay. It is. It's going to be life without parole. malice murder is not. It's not a. It's. I feel like it's one of the worst charges, like the worst, right? Let the memes begin. Guys, Donna Clark needs prayers. Alongside Rappard. So many people having a hard time right now. I love you guys. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Don't ask if my dishwasher's done yet. No, Leo King.
The
Rappard.
state does not like to talk about.
No, he's a younger
Danny
guy.
was just as much involved in the drugs as Miss Simon was. Involuntary intoxication is not defense. I'm not even saying that. Okay? What I am saying is it's just not very honest to say they weren't doing drugs. And Danny said he wasn't responsible, but that was in response to, I mean, I'm sorry, you're in a room full of small minor children doing drugs that are toxic to those children. Is there any manner or method in which doing those drugs in that room can be deemed responsible? But he went out of his way to put, it was on top of a chest of drawers they couldn't reach. Anyone who's had children knows, and you don't have to leave your common sense at the door for this.
Malice murder is a criminal offense in the U.S. state of Georgia, committed when a homicide is done with express of implied malice. Malice murder refers to murders committed with the specific intent to unalive or with specific intent to cause serious bodily harm. It can be premeditated unaliving or, I already said anyways, or murder committed with gross recklessness and depraved indifference for human life. Malice is the mental condition that motivates one individual to take the life of another individual without just cause or provocation. No. I'm not saying that right. Maybe I am. Good. I think that's exactly what she deserved, and I think that describes it perfectly, don't y'all? I didn't think this would be Casey Anthony. She didn't have an attorney like Casey Anthony did. I was kind of scared, y'all. I left my car unlocked last night. I knew you were going to say that when I read the first sentence. Dang it. Miss Chewy, I'm sorry. That sucks. I haven't seen Rapper J in quite a while. Provocation. Well, what does provocation mean? Provocation. It's hard to pronounce words when you're as country as me. Provocation is an action or speech that makes someone annoyed or angry, especially deliberately. Provocation. Learning with y'all, guys. I'm learning with y'all. You sent me a video. She Googled, is it normal to resent a child because of the father? I know. I don't know if premeditated, really, like she planned to unalive this baby, but I know that she absolutely could not stand this baby. You know? I know that she, not I know, but in my opinion, she really felt the want many, many times. Rapper, stop it. Okay, let me look at this video. What are you laughing at, Leo King?
Children get into everything. Okay? They do. They get out of everything. They get into everything. That is just what they do. And in Danny's own words, these were some mean-ass kids. And I suspect that no matter how responsible you are, they could get into something. Is that what happened here? I don't know. But neither do they. and I'm going to talk about the concealing the death and the assailing over home. To Mr. Dean, one of the things my dad told me was when you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Okay? But a lack of evidence is still a lack of evidence. His timeline only works. And I don't understand, he's right, motive's not an element of crime. But his timeline only works if it happens exactly the way he said it did. And in order to believe that, you have to believe Danny Youngkin. You have to believe that he, on his own, without prompting, without any prompting by anyone, said that at 3 o'clock, Quinton was fine, and 5:30, Quinton was fine when he left, and texted the babysitter on his own without ever checking on one of those two things. But see, here's the thing. He was being questioned by the police. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out if they're questioning you and pushing you that it's probably not a...
Miss Chewy, that's awful. He left your car door open and everything. Love you, Dumpling Chat. I'm gonna lay down. Braddy, is your mom still... Guys, Braddy needs prayers too. Her mama's in the hospital. Have you heard anything, Braddy? What's the status if you want to stay on here? If not, just text me. And we love you. Still love you. We love you, rapper. Even though you're a little turd, we love you. I can't stand this lawyer. He tried to shift this on Danny. That's what I was saying, Tennessee Sweetheart. We were listening to the state's closing statements first, and I was like, you know what? My dog's going crazy. I was like, you know what? I want to hear what the defense says, because I bet I only heard him once really like lay it on, trying to flip it completely on Danny hard. Oh, it was a girl? Well, then I think it was Wicked West said that he does it in closing statements again. So I was like, okay, we're going to this. Check my messages. Okay. She's in serious condition. I'm so sorry, Braddy. Please, guys, pray for Braddy's mama and for Braddy's to find peace somehow. I can't send him either. Yes, prayers for everyone. And I know Braddy, oh my goodness. I always wondered if maybe baby Quinton had a hard night and his mom Leilani lost control. Right. Janelle. Listen. I had to Google to make sure he was 20 months old. I didn't know if it was 20 or 21. He was 20 months old. Not just even growing pains. Sometimes they have earaches. Sometimes they are crying because they don't want to go to sleep. You heard Paul say he didn't like to be in a dark room, and that freaking shattered my heart because, golly, he just wasn't cared for. You know, he wasn't cared about. No one cared if he liked to be in the dark. They put him in that pack and play. In my opinion, that night, she ignored him crying. And if it's not from what she did to him, he could have been crying so hard that that's what caused him to get sick. That was my first thought. And when they get sick like that, they're crying hard and for a long time. And I feel like, you know, I agree with you, Janelle. I feel like she didn't want to handle it that night. You heard the babysitter's daughter say that she called her phone at 4 a.m. because she was aggravated with Quinton because her and Danny were arguing. 4 a.m. you're calling another child to come get your child because you're aggravated with your baby. It blows my stinking mind. Mom's trying to pin it on her son. I want to watch that trial, Miss Chewy. Only watched this one a little. I was so wrapped up in the suitcase there. I haven't watched that Tennessee Sweetheart. I'm going to have to find all the key points and make videos on that too because I'm interested in that one. But, you know, Quinton has all of our hearts. Anyone that saw Danny get the news at work and run out of there like, right. Listen, who said, was it his boss that said he was crying? Like, he was already crying when he left work. He was that scared. Your phone's acting stupid, Roosty. Who got those memberships anyways? Oh, Sleuth not station. Slation got one. Yay! Trisha got one. Roosty Crow got one. Lolly and Pops. Period got one. Awesome, Ben. Thank you so much again. Miss Chewy's been a member for 9 whole months. Thank you so much, Miss Chewy, for the support. I love you too. I'm sorry about what happened last night. That sucks. People suck. Stay out of trouble, everyone. I won't be here to block you. Why did I hear that in your voice in my head, Brady? Why did I hear that in your voice? I'm confused on what to compute suitcase is. Pack and plays are uncomfortable. I can never make my baby sleep in it. Oh, there you are, Sleuthslation. BRB, have to go to my daughter's real quick. Be careful driving. Didn't realize you came back on tonight. Yeah, I just did a premiere earlier. Hey, sweet dreams, blue eyes dumplings. I said, hey, I'm going to hit the like and keep your video on even though I'm snuggling now. Watching Nora's attacks. Great work on your life. Oh, thank you, Sleuthslation. I appreciate you being in here to support. It means a lot for all of you guys to be here. Danny cried on stand. He cared more about the kids. He sure did. His little lip quivered, guys. It broke my stinking heart. Hold on. I'm going to find something. Look at what y'all done. Dang it. My neighbor's dogs must be out barking with mine. But I was upset with that premiere today, guys, because I went through that whole video and I bleeped out every time he said the Coca-Cola word, that the defense attorney, and I swear he was trying to, I'm not supposed to swear, it felt like he was trying to get YouTube mad at the ones that were streaming it because he said it so many times, the C word. And I bleeped it out every single time. And then today, none of it was bleeped out. I was like, you have got to be joking me. I just kept hearing it over and over. And I was like, yep, this is not good. All right, I'm going to find something to show you real quick before we start again. Here, I'll play this video actually while I'm looking for the other.
Good thing. They never asked for a reasonable explanation of that because it would screw up the timeline. What if he was the one in trouble? That would screw up the timeline too. What if he wasn't? That would screw up the timeline too, especially if he said that she was fine at 3 o'clock. So now, that being said, Ms. Simon doesn't have to prove herself innocent of these charges. The state has to prove her guilty. And Mr. Dean said, well, we've done that, so you don't have to consider that. No. That's not how this works. Okay? You have to consider all of the evidence, all of the witnesses, all of the testimony. Not consider what I'm saying or his theory. You have to consider what you come up with. And with that, I'm going to get to what the burden of proof is. And how you basically, the judge is going to give you the law. And I'm going to say if there's any conflict between anything I say or anything Mr. Dean says, the judge is the ultimate arbiter of this. And give me 1 second. On this place I was looking for. So, count 1 is malice murder. In order to be malice murder, there has to be malice aforethought. Ms. Simon had to unlawfully cause the death of Quinton Simon, a human being. If you believe beyond a reasonable doubt that the state has proven that she did that, the only verdict you can return is a guilty verdict. But if you think there's no trace of that evidence whatsoever, your verdict has to be not guilty. If there's any evidence at all, even the smallest measure amount of evidence, a scintilla of evidence, your verdict has to be not guilty. That's not beyond a reasonable doubt. If you think that there's reasonable suspicion to think she may have done it, the only verdict you can return is not guilty. Because it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. If you think that the greater weight of the evidence is in the state's favor versus the defendant's favor slightly, that's what we call a preponderance, then your only verdict you can return is not guilty, because the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. If you have a firm belief that everything that Mr. Dean and the state is putting forth is true, but you have a reasonable doubt as to what actually happened, for which you can state a reason as a fair, impartial juror, the only verdict you can return then.
Sorry, guys, I accidentally hit something. Hey, Half Pint. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you so much for coming in and saying hi before you go to sleep. I'm happy to see you. Trying to catch up on what you were saying. You need some therapy, Rapper. I don't think she had feelings. Stop. I think she's feeling sad for herself. Donna, I think Leilani's feeling sad for herself right now. As Scott's, oh wait, okay, that's the second one. Danny wanted to cry more. He loved them. He was trying. There's no keeping that one in mind. That's where she belongs. You're right. I truly feel like Danny did stay around for the kids. I think he stayed around, but he could not stay around an aliver. That's why he left. And in the state of Georgia, he wasn't legitimized yet as Scott's father, so he could not legitimately take her as long as Leilani was out of jail. Yeah, so that would have really been kidnapping, huh? What is it, Millie? What you doing? I agree, Miss Chewy. I would never talk to someone. It would never hurt to talk to someone. Everyone needs that outlet. Quit refusing it, Rapper. Get therapy. Everyone could use therapy. Okay, I'm going to play this, and then I got to show y'all something about Danny.
The way you can get to guilty is if you're convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a high burden of proof. And I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, as to count one, there is no way to get there. As to count two, and I'm being specific on this. Yeah, they don't have to tell you what the offensive weapon was, but they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it happened the way they said. There's zero evidence of that. Count three. Count three is the count that has to do with cruelty to a child, I believe. Now, their theory is that Miss Simon went into a room with two other sleeping children and Mr. Youngkin and did something to Quinton Simon without anyone hearing it or waking up, and then left to dump his body. Despite the evidence that Daniel Youngkin said he was fine at 3, despite the evidence that Daniel Youngkin said he was fine at 5:30, despite the evidence that he's the one that texted the babysitter. So let's turn to the concealing a death count. Again, the standard of burden of proof is the same for all of these counts. So I'm not going to be repetitive and do it for each one because I don't get paid by the word. So there's no reason. You can understand and assume that the standard stays the same. Concealing the death of another. The only way that count is proven beyond a reasonable doubt is if you believe that Quinton Simon's body was in the bag and she threw the bag in the trash at the Zeddy Mobile Home Park at 1-something in the morning, beyond a reasonable doubt. There's not evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. There's evidence she said she went. They have a theory. Hell, my theory is the same. She might have went to get dope. I would guess.
Okay, here it is. I was having problems finding it, y'all. Oh, crap. This is on the day 3 recap. It'll be under videos because I just uploaded it instead of did it as a premiere or showed it live. It's a bunch of stuff just sliced and put together from that day in court. But here's Danny's face, guys. This is the most heartbreaking thing to remember to me.
Getting out of the house, when you left the house, you got in the car, did you have any idea that Quinton was gone?
No.
And they're really sped up, like they're made sped up, because I have to.
Did you turn the lights on in that room before you left?
No, sir, I did not.
Why not?
I have to. I'm screen recording them to put them all together. So if you do go back and watch these and they're too fast or too slow, just go to your settings and change the playback speed. Customize it to how you need it. But watch this, guys.
I didn't want to wake any of them.
Did you believe that there were 3?
Yeah, because I wake them up and it's a whole thing.
Did you look in Quinton's pack and play before you left?
No, I didn't.
Before you left.
No,
Guys, that's not fake emotion. That is him hating himself. That is him being so angry at himself for not doing it, for not looking. You can see it, you can feel it. There is no faking that. His lip quivered, guys. And I need to check what Dawn sent me, but I also have something to show y'all that I saw today too. Watch his lip. And look at her. That just I don't understand, guys.
You okay?
Yeah.
At some point during it, that's
Golly, that makes me so angry. And when he asked her, "You okay?" she looked up to see what was he doing. What's his emotion? All right, let's see what y'all saying before we go back to this. I've had to use my friends to sound off with lately. Everyone needs someone to sound out their hearts. You're right. That's true. Rapper, what do you want to be unblocked? Which account do you want unblocked? I'll go find it. Jody Ann, yesterday God blessed me. 7 pounds, 2 ounces, healthy grandson, Creed Michael. I love that name. Congratulations, Jody Ann. I'm so glad he's healthy, and I hope that I'm sure Mama's doing good too. Congratulations. Hey, Criminal Mid. What's up, Buttercup? All right. Let's listen to this for a second. How are you, Criminal Mid? You doing good? I'm happy for you, Jody Ann.
Cokeheads do cocaine. Opiate users do opiates. Weed smokers smoke weed. Okay? You have the text messages, and you have Mr. Youngkin's testimony. Mr. Youngkin told you that they were using every day at this point. Okay? So you have the statement that Leilani was trying to cover for Daniel. Their theory is that was a lie, but Daniel's the one that left town a few days after this happened. They don't seem to have any questions about that. That's always seemed odd to me. As a detective, going to detect stuff, walking into a scene where a child's abducted, my first instinct would be the non-related boyfriend or husband of the mother. But that doesn't seem to be the case here because it doesn't fit the timeline. That doesn't mean that I think Danny necessarily did anything wrong. No, but it seems like a natural, obvious question to ask. It seems like a natural, obvious investigation to make. And it does look suspect that A, he helped out almost immediately. He turned on her almost immediately. He set up the hotel video and audio surveillance almost immediately. Wiretap for 60 days. Now they talk about that and they play these little excerpts from the statements, but the consistency from Ms. Simon has been the entire
Was I really muted all that time just then? Was I for real? Yay, Gross Brothers! I'm happy for you. Back to the video, she says. Who is guilty? Yeah, he's back on Danny, huh? Number 4, that's Green Baby number 4. I'm glad you're doing good, Wicked West. I'm good. I'm feeling a little better. Melly, I get so mad when I do that, y'all. I was just talking away. But here's what Dawn said, guys. Malice shall be implied where no considerable, here's the word again, y'all. Provocation appears, and where all the circumstances of the unaliving show an abandoned and malignant heart. And that fits her. Don't y'all think? No, I paused it to read and I was muted, loudmouth. You might have just you might be a little behind, loudmouth. You might have to like catch up with the video because I was muted at talking. But here, I'm gonna pause it now.
By the time that she never harmed Quinton and she didn't dump his body. So it is a hell of a thing, but if you're going to accuse somebody of a hell of a crime, you better have a hell of a good amount of evidence. That might start with actually proving that a murder occurred versus an accident. We don't have that here. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've been sitting here for 8 days of evidence and almost a half day of argument at this point. So I'm going to ask you, when you go back, and I'm going to tell you just straight up, I don't give a damn about lying about smoking weed. I really don't. Okay? Most drug users lie about their drug use, Mr. Youngkin included. That doesn't usually concern me. But I'm going to ask you to go back and return the only verdict you can in this evidence. As to count 1, I'm going to ask you to return a not guilty verdict. As to count 2, I'm going to ask the same. As to count 3, I'm going to ask the same. As to count 4, there's some question as to whether or not A, this happened the way they say, B, who it was, and C, whether or not this even happened the way they're alleging here. That's reasonable doubt. The false report of a crime.
I don't know what he's
I haven't touched on this very much, but you know what?
Job.
The reality of it is that could have happened
You're
too.
right, Dawn.
And it actually would make a hell of a lot more sense.
I don't know, Emery.
And here's why.
Yay, 2 girls and 2 boys.
Rather than trying to say Miss Simon wasn't reacting, and I don't really know what the hell this means, but Miss Simon's not reacting the way you would expect
criminal
someone to.
med. Isn't
Well,
that just?
I'm fairly certain
I can't even.
I don't
I
react
can't
the way
even
people
explain
expect
the
me to
emotion.
sometimes, and you probably don't
thing.
react the way people expect you to sometimes. But when it comes to your child missing or presumed dead, that tends to make people react in a weird way. So I don't think they've proven false report of a crime. If you woke up and your child wasn't there, what are you supposed to do? And she did report it. Okay? They tried to say in the beginning that she didn't, but you actually heard the 911 call was made from her phone, and Danny was the one that got on and talked because she couldn't speak. We heard the 911 check. I didn't play it. They did. Making a false statement, the October 4th was to pay an existing drug debt. We saw the Cash App. We had no evidence to refute that or rebut that. Okay. So could have been an existing drug debt, could have been new drugs. I don't know. But I think there's some reasonable doubt on that one as well. You saw and to be quite frank,
Is he really arguing that? Is he really is he trying to really argue that right now, guys? We sat there and watched her say that Danny owed wasn't it $20? But she didn't trust him to give him money. And the Cash App's for $80. Exactly. What the heck? This guy, y'all.
I don't care. I just don't care. Okay. Count 8. Falsely stating the only controlled substance she had used in the past 24 hours was marijuana. Again, I just don't care. I really don't. And to be honest with you, it's an abduction case and it's a murder case. They don't either. Count 9, the Oragel statement. The oral gel statement's bothersome. But I will ask you this, and it's not to make an excuse, but they're pushing you for an explanation, and you give one. And even if that was the reason why you went and it didn't work out that way, is there really any evidence one way or the other? She said she went to see Misty. Does it matter if her name is Missy, not Misty? Does it matter if she got the oragel or not? Count 10 is the putting Quinton in a dumpster. I believe there's reasonable doubt as to that one. Count 11, making a false statement. Again, meeting, this was October 8th. These are repetitive and redundant. This was on October 8th. The prior was, I believe, October 5th. Count 12 is used.
Literally, guys, did he just say, does it matter if she got the name of her friend that she met right or wrong? It all mattered. What the heck? The reason she didn't trust people is because she did it to others? Yes. When you cash up, you don't have to leave your home to do it. She is a monster. Isn't he? I don't know why it ghosted. Hold on. It must be a word you're using, rapper. Yeah, it wasn't deleted from anyone, so I guess maybe just try to word it differently. Hey, Jennifer B. Did I just say hi to you? Because I feel like I'm losing my mind. She said she saw the girl and talked to her, and then she said that she ended up not talking to her, but also called her. He was. It's disgusting. I never think of words the same way again. And when you're lying, like when something's not making sense, it's because it's a lie. I always remember that now.
Use controlled substances. Again, I'm not really sure how you can admit to using controlled substance. I guess they're saying that you didn't. I don't know. But count 10, count 12 to me, I don't understand it. I don't see how it's beyond a reasonable doubt. And I ask for not guilty on that one as well. Count 13, again, is the oragel story yet again. Count 14 is the dumpster story yet again on a different day. Count 15, Misty again on a different day. So a lot of these are repetitive and redundant. So when you're back there, you have to consider the witnesses, their manner and method of testifying, and what they testified to. Why do I say that? Do you really care if she was sleeping with Craig Weston? Does it really matter? Is it germane to whether or not Quinton Simon was killed intentionally or died as a result of his accident? I present to you no. Some of the evidence they presented too, and again, Officer Zerke, I had no doubt she was emotional about it. But again, the only reason to put her up and have her cry was to have her cry. Did she add anything beyond that? No. It was to play on your emotion. And it doesn't matter how much, how often, how long they played on that emotion. It doesn't change the fact that they haven't produced any evidence. They haven't met their burden. They haven't proved that Miss Simon killed her son. Give me 1 second. I'm going to ask you to go back there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to ask you to do the hardest thing you've probably ever done in your life, is to set your emotions aside, to view the evidence, and return a verdict of not guilty. The state has not proved that Miss Simon killed her child. They have speculated wildly, I might add, but they produced no evidence. And I know that that's a hard thing to ask, but I'm going to ask you to do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hilliard. Turning to the state, Ms. Parker. And just so the jury knows, Parker is part of the prosecution team is doing the conclusion of the closing arguments. What I anticipate after that is that we will break. I'll give you an opportunity to go to lunch. I will bring you back and I will charge you at that time with the jury instructions.
Just one moment.
I didn't know that Danny sang either. That's crazy. Good morning, Winnie the Pup. How are you? She cried for herself at the end. Melody. Oh, I'm glad you said that. I have a video. I want to show y'all. My dog's gonna make my neighbors yell at me. I didn't know either, Donna. It's under his name. Look. That's how you spell his name. I saw this look today, guys, and it killed me. I mean, it unalived me. Sorry, YouTube. Melody, watch this look. Oh. Messenger won't let me. Hold on. Okay, y'all watch this. She rolls her eyes at Detective Lemons.
When do you remember first seeing those messages?
I believe I mentioned them on October 5th to her.
Okay. And did you ask her a question about Craig that day?
I did.
What was the question that you asked her?
I think I asked her.
Y'all see that? I'm a fallout, y'all. Watch again. She didn't like being asked about Lil Red, did she? Watch.
About Craig that day?
I did.
What was the question that you asked her?
I think I asked her.
That eyebrow went up at everybody.
When do you remember?
Y'all believe that? That blows my stinking mind. Hey, Robert, I didn't see what you want me to which account you want me to unblock. Tell me again. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows when sentencing is yet. Flirting with the waiter on Tybee Island. It's just so gross. I know, Melody. It made me like, I just can't believe it. Who is this? Who is this lady?
State of mind that this woman was in at that time. She was deeply, deeply unhappy with her life. She had
sweet
three
dreams loud
really
now.
small children. She had a 3-year-old, a 20-month-old, and an infant.
Hold on,
In
y'all.
the best of circumstances, if you had family support, if you had your own place to live, if you had plenty of money, even in great circumstances, having to take care of a 3-year-old, a 20-month-old, and an infant would be so hard and so stressful. But to add on to that stress, she didn't have those other things. Her relationship with her mother was not good. Her mother was gone a lot, so that was not a real support for her. Her relationship with Danny was falling apart. Danny was getting fed up with her. Their relationship was falling apart. They didn't have any money. She was drug addicted. She and Danny were living in her mother's house in one room with these 3 children. And when we talk about her relationship with Craig or the fact that she had 3 children with 3 different fathers, we're not trying to call her a slut. Nobody is trying to slut shame the defendant. We wouldn't do that. This is 2024. That's not what this is about. When we talk about those things, what we're trying to show you is that this woman's self-esteem came from men. And part of why she was so deeply unhappy was because Danny was rejecting her. And it made her feel horrible because that's where her self-esteem came from. And that's why at 22 years old, she already had 3 children with 3 different fathers, because men were so important to how she saw herself and how she felt about herself. And that's what was part of why she felt so awful that night. You saw the suicide video that she did, where she talked about how unhappy she was. She even said to her children, I can't love you because I can't love myself. It doesn't seem she ever intended to kill herself. It was something she was going to send to Danny probably for attention, for him to feel sorry for her, because she was manipulative of Danny, very manipulative of Danny. And the reason that she started this sexual relationship with Craig was to fill a void there. And this sexual relationship with Craig was a new thing. It's something that had just happened in the weeks before this. So on the night that she killed Quinton, Danny had rejected her. She's using drugs. She's on cocaine, marijuana, Percocet, and maybe alcohol, because we saw her go and buy beer at the convenience store. She's under the influence. She said in her own statements that drug use made her angry and impulsive. So she's unhappy. She's mad at Danny. She's under the influence of drugs that make her angry and impulsive. And so she goes to Arkwright looking for Craig, because Craig is where she has been getting that need fulfilled for male attention that makes her feel better about herself. And Craig's not there that night. That's why it matters, and why we made Craig come in here and testify, because he wasn't there that night. And so she couldn't get that need fulfilled. She couldn't feel better about herself. So instead, she does something so drastic. She killed Quinton. And in the act of killing Quinton, she became a sympathetic person and got Danny's attention back. She became the mother of a missing child. And Danny ran out of work to be by her side. That's what she wanted. That was the manipulation. And it's so hard to believe a mother would do that. But that's why you have to think about her frame of mind and how low and desperate she felt that night, and that she was under the influence of drugs that she admits make her angry and impulsive. That's what happened.
Do any of you remember seeing her smirk when, I think it was Paul said, they asked Paul, did you see the video of Danny when he left work, when he got the call? And he said, yes, he was running or something like that. And she smirked. If y'all haven't seen it, I'll have to go find it. Please tell me y'all know what I'm talking about. When she saw when she heard how Danny reacted when she needed him, that's when she smirked.
You also may wonder, why Quinton? Why that child? And Quinton was her disposable child. She did not like Quinton's father. She loved Zane. Zane was her ride or die. You heard Michelle McCarta talk about how she would say Zane had been through everything with her. He was her ride or die. And Sky, who was her youngest child, the baby infant, was Danny's child. She needed Sky to keep Danny around. Quinton was disposable. She didn't really like Quinton. We heard testimony about how she would call Quinton names. We heard testimony about her hitting him, about her pushing him in the pool. She didn't do this to any of her other children. She would feed Zane before she fed Quinton. She didn't do that to any of her other children. Quinton was disposable. And so she disposed of him in the trash can. But that's why Quinton, and not one of her other children. Her plan did not last. Her story came apart really, really fast. Because the police, when a child is missing, it is all hands on deck, and they're going to start using every resource they can to find this child and see what's going on in this household. And it was within a very short period of time that they discovered her vehicle on those slot cameras leaving home during the night when she said she had been at home. So it was within hours that they knew she was lying. The defense also said that we don't like to talk about Danny, and that's not true. Like, we talked about Danny a lot. There's nothing about Danny that makes us uncomfortable talking about him or why he didn't do this. There's overwhelming evidence that that is the person who killed Quinton Simon and not Danny. The defense also kept talking about Danny being up at 3.
And she just, sorry, my pans fell. And she thought that she was so smart to, God, that hurt my ear because I have my earbud in too. She thought she was smart enough to get away with this, y'all. She thought they weren't immediately going to see that. Y'all remember that? Good. Some of you remember, at least not crazy. I saw it and remember it. Danny left his jacket, cigarettes, everything, and bolted to that door. Someone that knows the cops are there with the drugs. I was going to run. I agree. You know, I think Danny really did like her, but she hurt him a lot. Yes, did you see the text messages that Danny was sending her that night? Hold on, buddy.
3 o'clock in the morning and seeing Quinton, that did not come into evidence in this trial. Go back and check your notes. That is not something that is in evidence. The only mistake Danny made was in the morning when he left at 5:20 in the morning, he originally said he saw Quinton. And he talked about that. He just assumed it because he woke up in the dark, got ready for work, quietly left the house. He just assumed Quinton was there. And he did not go over to the pack and play and look in and say, hey, Quinton, you there? He didn't do that. And so because he had not seen anything weird when he left home, he just assumed that Quinton was there and it was fine. And when pressed and questioning, he explained that he had not actually gone over to the pack and play and looked and made sure.
Leo King, I washed it and I put it on top of another one and it freaking slipped and it was so loud and Joseph has the migraine. I'm hoping they might turn the cannon on BJ now. Oh my gosh. Okay, Wicked West. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I was asking. How many of you think that they'll go for her? How many of you hope that they do? What are your opinions on that? She absolutely did try to pin it on Danny. Wasn't that disgusting? She needs some kind of consequence. She does. I mean, sorry. She does. Water gives me hiccups, but I have to drink it because of my sinuses. Like all the congestion. Quinton would still be here. It sucks because she loved that baby and we saw the hurt and the pain, but that wouldn't have happened if she wouldn't have left them. And the babysitter calling her and telling her that when the incidents happened, you know, she knew that stuff was going on. I think they have a case as BG custody and she gave. I think so too. We'll see. I gotta watch this last one, guys. Please hold.
Quinton was there. That is the only inconsistency in his statement, and it is very understandable. The defense has started trying to suggest that Danny could have done this, but Danny is not the one that was at the dumpster in the middle of the night throwing a bag of trash in, a dumpster that later went to an area of the landfill where Quinton's body was found. It was not Danny's phone that was at the dump. It was not Danny's car driving to the dump. It was her. She drove to the dump, and she admitted that she was there. Mr. Dean spent a lot of time making it clear about where this trash went to the landfill. The landfill is huge. And Quinton's body was found in the specific part of the landfill where the dumpster she was throwing his body into put its trash. Otherwise, he never would have been found, which is what she wanted. She didn't want him to be found because then forevermore she could be the mother of a missing child and sympathetic. I want to talk to you about the burden of proof. Mr. Hilliard said the state hates the burden of proof. We don't. We welcome that burden. It is our burden, and we welcome it with open arms because we want the right person convicted. We should have to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the person that committed this crime. And we have, and she is. We don't hate reasonable doubt at all. Mr. Dean talked about reasonable doubt. I'm happy to talk about reasonable doubt and burden of proof. Reasonable doubt does not mean, as the defense suggested, that we have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt every fact that we put up before you. What we have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt is the elements of the crimes, and we have done that. It means a doubt with a reason, not just any doubt, but a doubt using your common sense. So you go back in that jury room when we're done, and using your common sense, you ask yourselves, did that woman murder Quinton Simon? And the answer to that is absolutely yes, she did. Absolutely. And all of the evidence points to her. All of it. Mr. Hilliard also spent a lot of time talking about emotion in this case. And yes, this is an emotional case. Murder cases, by definition, have emotion in them because a human being has died. And the murder of a really small child, there's no way you can escape emotion. There's going to be emotion. People who testify are going to have emotion. We're going to have emotion when we talk about it. It's unavoidable. But we're not asking you to find her guilty based on emotion. We're asking you to find her guilty based on all of the facts and evidence that we have put before you. The 34 witnesses that have come in and testified and told very specifically how these events happened. All of the statements that you've heard the defendant make, where she changed her story over and over and
Y'all are right. I really like her. She really brings it and tells it how it is, huh? She could be. We'll see. And look you can tell she's really, like, truly angry about it, about what she's saying. Like, she's angry at this woman for hurting that baby. BJ is guilty. Criminal neglect. Right. That's what I thought. Neglect. The kids would have been better off with social services. Try to distance herself, try to gain good graces with the police. Did BJ leave? I don't know how that would work, Jennifer. I don't know. What? Maybe Cher's Donna? Is Cher still friends with her? I know if it was my daughter, she'd have been out the door. I can't believe what they paid that sitter. I know. Yeah. Oh, she was in Queen Bee's. When? When was that? And what did she say? Yeah, what did she say? He didn't have to be the father, just responsible person, so technically lived with her. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Jennifer. I am highly confident she will not get custody back. I'm praying so anyways, Donna. She was wanting to play the victim. Was she really? Wait, if Billy Joe knew that she was going to be gone, she should have made... Right, I agree with you 100%. Hey, Jonathan. How are you? Okay, Wicked West. Wicked West is back, everyone. We can start again. Let's go. My dryer. Something's in there that's loud, isn't it? So, Leilani didn't even have a job, right? So, was her mom sending her money to send a babysitter? Or did she have a job and I just can't remember? Like at that time. Oh, she did. I forget. I keep forgetting she did. She had a job at the same place Danny did. I keep forgetting that. Just because, I think that's because I can't imagine her holding a job, having a job, getting up and going. So maybe she was the one paying the babysitter. But remember, who was it? Was it Billy Joe saying that they were not paying child support to her? Do y'all remember that? And I know Billy Joe sent the money herself to Michelle, the babysitter, herself for the clothes that she bought. The day that they rested the case, They did the final argument, so I didn't go in there. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, Cindy E, thank you for coming in and hitting the like. Danny did not have responsibility. And guys, if you're in the bushes just watching, not commenting, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on. I know you only have to subscribe. It reminds you to subscribe if you comment. And a lot of people don't, you know, they just stay in the bushes. Leilani work. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. Oh no, Cindy E. I forgot what surgery. Funky, you were supposed to go to bed 2 hours ago. What are you doing? It's bedtime. I'm in as a babysitter, same as Michelle daughters. Everyone in that ugly house failed completely. So never mind, I'm not gonna say it. What was your surgery, Cindy E? I forgot. I'm awful. Didn't the eviction come in? Does anyone remember that she was evicting Danny, Leilani, and all the kids? Right. And how would she be evicting the kids if she had custody? That makes zero sense. Thank you, Leo King, for hitting the like button. You were asleep. You don't sleep long ever, do you? Everyone failed Quinton. I'm just going to say it, okay? You're going to make me. Look, that babysitter, I've said it before, the babysitter, amazing woman. Her and her kids were those kids' safe haven, especially Quinton's. And they loved those babies, you can tell. And they took good care of them. But she should not have called Billy Joe when stuff happened. She should have called, if CPS or whatever it's called up there, if they weren't doing anything fast enough, call the police. The police will get CPS there immediately. If you find the babies on the road, they could have gotten, something terrible could have happened. Call the cops right then. I know I get they were worried like they wouldn't be able to see the kids anymore, but here's the thing. What would have happened? So if they found out it was them that called, maybe they were worried Billy Joe wouldn't let them see the kids anymore. I don't know what the problem was with that. I know they said they were worried about consequences from them if they called, but she should have called someone. That's all I know. I hope I said hi to you, Tams. Short-term memory. Short-term. That wasn't a huge stressor, in my opinion. Whoa. What was? Oh, the eviction. Clocks went back an hour, so Winnie decided to get up an hour early. Oh, no! I don't know what a lie-on is. What is a lie-on? Okay, you had the knee replacement surgery. Oh, I'm so sorry it's hurting so bad, Cindy. Ruby Joy just had that also. Funky said my dryer woke him up. I need to go see what's so loud in it. I'm glad y'all agree. I'm really glad y'all agree. And I'm not downing that babysitter for what she did do for those kids, because she was awesome for that. And you could tell she loved them. But it might not have happened if she called someone and did something about it, I'm not putting it all on her either. It's just, he was failed. He was failed. And I'm sure she's well aware of that, so there's no need to beat it in, DFACS. That you're right. That's right. I want to call it CPS, Child Protective Services. DFACS. Hey, Ryan, you're still awake. She's not in the U.S. I think she's in England. Winnie the Pooh. If you're worried enough to keep a child for weeks on end, something needs to be done to save this game. I agree. Hey, Pittsburgh nurse. What you doing? Are you at work? I honestly think the babysitter will live with not calling police. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure she is mad enough at herself, right, Dawn? I feel like she might have thought that, trusted for Billy Joe to do something about it, and then that would be the less consequences. She'd still get to see the babies. She lived a few houses down. She didn't want any problem, That's why there's no point in beating her up about it, Yeah, the UK. I tried to find the memorial at the landfill, but couldn't find it, but Grizzly showed it. You tried to find it. Like online, you tried to find it? Sorry, Funky, that we woke you. Yeah, I have two glass. I can't think of what they're called, y'all. It's late. I'm tired. I'll show you in a minute. But they're really heavy and big, and I washed them and I put them in the dish drainer, and one fell. It slipped and fell, and it was so stinking loud. Make sure you turn your smoke alarm down. It was sad listening to the agents of police. Oh my gosh. She was just sitting there with no emotion, wasn't she? Doesn't that make you angry? The center may have been worried the kids would go away. That's true too. That's true too. I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of it's a mix of emotions, because I know she had her reasons and they were valid enough, and she would never imagine this happening. You know what I mean? Like, she would never imagine something like this happening. Yes, Pyrex. Pyrex, thank you. The landfill. I know, I saw it. I've seen it everywhere, though. Here, I'll see if I can find it again. You're not ready for Halloween? This is Halloween. This is Halloween. I'm getting everything ready for the church event at Halloween still. Winnie the Pup, are you ready for Halloween? Are you going to put something on Winnie? It is. It is a sad situation all around. God, it's so sad. Let me see. What was I going to look up? Oh, landfill. Memorial. Okay. We have coyotes. They're not around my house, but the woods are close-ish to my house. And we were sitting out there at the fire the other night, and we could hear them going crazy, huge packs. And my dog hated it. And I bet that's what's happening out there. But they won't come in the actual neighborhood, y'all. It's just really loud. You ready for Halloween, Jonathan? Are you going to dress as something? Why, Dawn Michelle? Y'all be ready and watching. We might be having. Yes, guys. Yes. Okay, I won't say anything yet. My house is decorated, though. My neighborhood kids have told me they look. Oh, Donna Clark, send me pictures. I want to see. I usually get 300 to 400 kids as I give out toys and games, treats. Oh, that's sweet, Criminal Mid. That's fun. I'm going to see if I can find that memorial photo on Facebook. Let me play this for a second while I look.
Over and over. That's what we're asking you to make this finding on of her guilt, the actual evidence. And when it comes to her emotion, that's fair game. You absolutely can consider her emotion and her demeanor when you're evaluating this case. And it's important to look at her emotion.
Coyotes, Leo King?
While
They
it
better
is
not come in the
absolutely true,
neighborhood.
people react differently to trauma. None of her reactions were anywhere within what is believable. They just were not. There's some people, when something terrible happens to them, they shut down, they're very quiet, they're stoic, they give one-word answers. That's totally normal.
I mean, we
There
have
are other people who become absolutely hysterical, they can't even talk. Absolutely normal. There's a wide range of human emotions. What is not normal
Dawn, that's fine.
is for a mother to wake up and find her child missing and react the way this woman did. She didn't run upstairs to Paul, who was at home, and say, Paul, Quinton's missing. Have you seen Quinton? It's Quinton up here. She didn't do that. She didn't go wake up Paul. Paul had no idea what was going on until the police were there, which was 20, 30 minutes later. She didn't go running out in the yard, in the woods, looking for her child.
There it is.
She didn't do that. She called Danny. Because that's the whole motive. She wanted Danny's attention. That's why she did this. And so Danny's the first person she called. And she didn't do another thing until Danny got home. Danny got home and found her just standing around outside. She wasn't looking for Quinton. There is no mother who would not look for their child frantically under these circumstances. She had not called the police. She'd not asked Paul for help. She'd not called over to the McCartas and said, hey, Quinton's missing. Do y'all have him? She didn't do any of those things. She waited for Danny to come home because that was the whole point, was to get Danny's attention. And it wasn't until Danny was at home and he had reached out to the McCartas, Michelle suggested they call the police, that things started happening. That is not normal.
Roosty Crow, I'm going to get you a new Discord link and put it in the comments under that where you said it didn't work, because the links only last for so long for, like, I guess, privacy, safety. Here, I'm commenting it right now, the new one, okay? There you go. Okay, look, here's the memorial. If you guys haven't seen it, it's the memorial that they set up at the landfill for Quinton, guys. Look at that. Oh my gosh, isn't that sweet, heartbreaking, everything? Oh no, Wicked West, I'm sorry, that sucks. I know, Donna Clark, no one wants homemade goodies because you don't know how people's houses are that they're cooking in. You don't know. I don't know, there's a lot of fears now. You have to work on Halloween, Tennessee, sweetheart, that sucks. I was at Capitol. I'm glad you're having fun. Sorry, I'm glad you're having fun, Roosty Crow. I'm ready. My broomstick is ready. All decorated candies bought, and I'm going to be a witch, and Winnie has her pumpkin jumper. Yay! Yes, the coyotes. Well, I'm in my house, and they can't hopefully get over that fence. Yeah, look at her lack of emotions. You're making criminal mode. You're making Jonathan want some candy. Popcorn balls were always my favorite thing. I got popcorn balls for the church. Look, Bryson opened it just from Walmart though, like made ones. Bryson opened it and didn't. He keeps doing that. I don't know why he keeps opening them and not eating them. Isn't that beautiful, y'all? Isn't that heartwarming? Heartwarming. I can't speak tonight, y'all. I'm tired. We run all the kids' bags of treats through the X-ray free the day after Halloween. Oh, that's. It's sad you have to do that, but that's really cool though. Once Grandma and Grandpa left, it's not the same. Aw. Okay. But look, guys, that's the memorial. Zoomed in, you can kind of see the two little angels. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I can't. All right, I'm going to play this again for a second.
Her lying through the course of this investigation is not normal. It's not normal because she wasn't a worried mother. She was a murderer trying to hide what she did. We cannot prove to you the way she killed Quinton. We can't, because she made sure that his body was decimated, was ground to nothing but bits of bone. And under the law, defendants are not rewarded for that. The law does not require us to prove how she killed him when she's the one that hid how she killed him. You're not going to hear anything in the judge's charges that say we have to prove how she killed him. The defense can say it all they want, but that is not an element of the crime that we have to prove. And please listen to the law, because you will hear that. We don't have to prove that. It is not the fault of the state that we can't prove that. It is her fault, because she made sure that his body would be in such a state that we couldn't prove it. She wanted his body never to be found. And if it weren't for the work of a whole bunch of people who really cared about getting justice for this child, enough so that they would put all this gear on and dig through stinky trash trying to find him, he never would have been found. also part of how we know that this is not an accident. Her behavior and her statements. If something had happened to Quinton and she had found him injured, not responsive in his pack and play or something like that, she would have called for help. She would have woken up Paul. If Danny was still there, she would ask Danny for help. She would have called an ambulance. That would be normal. There is zero evidence in this case that this child had some accidental drug overdose. There's just not. He did not have access to any drugs. Everybody has said he couldn't get out of his pack and play. So once he was in there, he was in there for the night. He wasn't roaming around, climbing on shelves, trying to touch stuff. And they didn't just leave drugs lying around because they were expensive. And pretty much they used them right after they bought them. Also, we tested his brain matter. There was no indication of any drugs in his brain. This is just not an accident. We went above and beyond to rule out every other possibility for this child to death. Medical, accident, SIDS, it's none of those things. It's that his mother murdered him.
Look at her face.
One other thing I want to say.
Oh my gosh, I can't help it, y'all. I can't help not laughing at her, guys.
Upon the credibility.
Oh, that's just the instructions for the jury. Okay. The last thing I want to watch is her reaction. And then after tonight, sorry, I'm having to look down at my computer. It's hard. After tonight, we're going to move on. What are we going to talk about next? We're going to go over the Sarah Boone trial? Or what about that trial? Who was talking about that? The one of the woman, I can't even say it. Hey, Lena! The woman burnt her husband's body, and now he's trying to blame her son. I don't know. Yep. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. What? No way. On the last day? I think that's just her skin. I think that's just her skin spots. Unless you're talking about like dark spots and stuff. Another day. Melody Ferris. Is that who I was talking about? Judge was just gorgeous. Oh, Quinton Simon was just gorgeous. I want to hug him. I thought you said Judge. I read that wrong. Judge was just gorgeous. I want to hug him. I was like, what? The judge is gorgeous, but I don't know. I want to hold him and love on him. I think she will get life without parole. Oh, it wasn't this day. Okay. Georgia's pretty tough. I think so too. Right under the earring. Oh, I see what you're talking about. It might just be a dark spot. Because look on her cheek, she has a dark spot too. And right here on her eye. Jennifer. All right, let's watch her reaction. Obviously, I've seen this because I posted, I think it was supposed to be a short. I don't know if it uploaded as a short. Her reaction and some photos of Quinton in the videos.
Thank you, Deputy Solomon, for handing that up.
Oh no, my camera's crooked. Sorry. Okay, y'all keep saying Melanie Ferris. Is that the one that did that to her husband? Is that who we're talking about? Who do y'all want to talk about next? What do y'all want to talk about next? NorCal. NorCal, what about that beautiful, sweet officer that was crying with her heart broken. Oh my gosh. It was big and dark one day, is all I'm saying. And she loves taking breaks. You bad. Hey, Jennifer Finley. I hope life without parole. Isn't there a death penalty in Georgia? Could be the lighting. Is there a death penalty in Georgia? Oh, this isn't a death penalty case? Why not? Why isn't this a death penalty case? Y'all better stop. She broke my heart though, NorCal. Hey, Bryden. How are you? Alright, let's watch. Dang it, that sucks. Okay, thank you.
I'm going to ask counsel to approach and take a look at the verdict form.
That's awesome, Ryan. Are you excited? Yay, I'm glad you're excited.
As to the verdict, it reads as follows. We, the jury, find as follows: malice murder. We find the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We find the defendant guilty. Count 3, felony murder. We find the defendant guilty. Count 4, concealing the death of another. We find the defendant guilty. Count 5, false report of a crime. We find the defendant guilty. Count 6, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 7, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 8, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 9, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 10, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 11, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 12, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 13, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty.
Bryden.
Count 14, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 15, making a false statement. We find the
Why aren't you
defendant
handing
guilty.
out candy, Donna?
Count 16, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 17, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 18, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. And count 19, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Okay. And is there anything further from the state? From the defense? Certainly. So, members of the jury, this is something that very often happens. You will be asked questions by the clerk, 3 questions in particular, I believe, and simply answer the questions. Madam Clerk.
Juror number 1, was this your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 2. Juror number 2. Was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror number 3. Was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror number 4. Was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
All sane. But head dropping in right at the end. Why not? Does anyone know why? Yeah, it's coming up right now. Wait for it. It used to be in Chicago that you would trick or treat anywhere. What? That's crazy, criminal men. Death penalty is legal in Georgia and the state resumed executions. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, Lena. She gone. Sweet dreams, all sane. Oh, yeah, that's right. You said it's not. Okay, that aggravates me, y'all. Watch here. It's coming up. She's going to look at her lawyer, and her lawyer's going to whisper, and he's probably saying, we'll appeal it. It'll be okay. And she'll say, with her little frowny face, and then she's standing there, and the tears are coming down, and it's just like, first time you see sadness.
now?
Yes.
Juror number 5, was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 6, was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 7, was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 8, was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 9, was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 10, was that your verdict then?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror number 11,
Yes.
was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Juror number 12, was that your verdict then?
Yes.
Is this your verdict now?
Yes.
Anything further at this time with the juries?
No, Your Honor.
With the jurors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service, for your time, for your energy. This has been an important more than 2 weeks now that you've spent with the court, and your time and attention is deeply appreciated. I am going to release you. If anyone wants to speak with you about your deliberations and you want to, you may do so now. You're being released from the instructions. You're not under any obligation to speak with anyone about your experience, but you may do so if you choose to. I am ordering that there be no contact with the jurors in the courthouse or on the courthouse property. But I do release you at this point. Thank you. You're free to go.
Jurors exiting.
Makes me sick watching her. Look. That's here. Yeah, you're right.
All clear, Judge.
All right, everyone may please have a seat. Sentencing will not occur at this time. It's going to be scheduled for another date. That date will be determined. And of course, if there's anything to be presented in aggravation or mitigation, I'll hear it at that time. All right. Is there anything further at this point from the state?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you as well for your service from the state as well as from the defense. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Look at her. You know he's telling her it'll be fine. We'll kill it, right? Hold on, y'all. I know NorCal. Jet lag. I bet you the babysitter would give Quinton a proper break. Yes, I think so. I mean, I know so. We know so, right? She ate her way through that day. There she. Oh, there she is. There she is, NorCal. They heard you. I had to stop it before it started playing, NorCal. I'm sorry. Let me find. Gosh, y'all, my feet hurt. I need to go to sleep. Hold on, I'm going to show y'all. Did all of you see the short I uploaded? I did it in the car, y'all. And I did it in a rush after she was found guilty on all charges. It was kind of a mess, but I had to celebrate in some way. It didn't upload as a short, I don't guess. And what I really like is it. I have it in my calendar, October 25th, to remind me every single year. Or it comes up every single year as baby Quinton's Day for Justice, because that's how I'm going to say that day from now on. Wait. Dumpling in my block for your channel. Tried several times. Let me send edited to the basics. Pink Fan, I see you. Why won't it let you Do your milestones. Oh, I'm sorry, Pink Fan. I'm really happy to see you, though. Really happy to see you. Yeah, they still have pointless remains. 81 likes, guys. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like button. Okay, here. Justice for baby Quinton Day.
Malice murder, we find the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder, we find the defendant guilty. Count 3, felony murder, we find the defendant guilty. Count 4, concealing the death of another, we find the defendant guilty.
Baby, guys. So I edited it. I can't say that word. To 60 seconds because I wanted to put it as a short, and then I made the layout the way you needed it for a short, and it didn't upload as a short. But that's okay. It's under videos. And guys, that video of him laughing, I think it's Billy Joe recording it. And it's a lot longer. And it breaks my stinking heart. Here, I'll find where I had it. And we can watch the whole thing. Like this one. And I found them on the Justice for Quinton Simon Facebook page. Oh my gosh, that video breaks my heart. Yeah, NorCal, a lot of people have been having problems with YouTube lately. Hold on, y'all, I'm getting to that video. Whatever is metal in my jar is gonna wake Sunky up again. Okay, so there's this one. Just to be with you. I can't play the music. Sorry, I forgot. Look at him. Look at that baby. His little face. That sucks. I can't imagine how, like, Billy Joe, the babysitter. Oh no, I had the comment on. Did that mess it up? It's really sad. Wait for this one, guys. Emery says, I turned my phone off and back on, and a lot of that stuff stopped happening. Also, Pinkfin, make sure that YouTube is updated in the Play Store or wherever it is on your phone. Okay, y'all, this one. Oh my gosh.
What is it? Yeah. Oh. Hey, what are you doing down there? What are you? What are you? Yeah. Oh. Hey, what are you doing down there? What are you? What are you? What are you? Yeah. Oh. Hey, what are you doing down there?
Okay.
What are you?
And y'all heard Paul say that he was such a good baby. Here, let me turn myself down now. I can't handle hearing myself in my ear. He was such a good baby, y'all. You heard what Paul said. He was, well behaved. He didn't really throw fits. He just didn't like to be in the dark. And it broke me when he said that when he walked in from work that night, he was in the crib saying, Danny. Like, Danny. He loved Danny. I know, y'all. Isn't that stinking heartbreaking? How are you, Pink Fin? Where have you been? You took a YouTube break? So like I said, guys, I'm still planning to post the trials as quick recaps on normal videos. Or I might do premieres because they get more notifications out for some reason, kind of like a live, and more people know they're there that way. But we'll see what happens. We are baby Quinton's army. It is good seeing her, isn't it? Right now I'm making these Oreo brownies that Joseph wanted me to make. Oh, and guys, look, this is what I'm excited to make. Look. What the heck? And then I have to make a bunch of these for church. The no-bake cheesecake strawberry. I said that backwards, but y'all know what I mean. Those are so yummy, guys. If y'all haven't tried those, oh my gosh, they're so yummy. What I do is I make them mini, and I put them in cupcake liners. And, yeah, they're really, really, really good. Making fresh key lime pies with crusted pecan crust. Ooh, yummy. I don't like key lime pie, but Oreo brownies, I'm coming over. I hope Jonathan's not still here. He's going to be going crazy. I really want some candy. No, he's in his kitchen searching his cabinets for candy right now. Okay. Y'all give me 1 second. I know, it's making me hungry too. Trying really hard not to be loud. With all these last all this class stuff, y'all. Oh man, I missed a bunch of comments. Or at the babysitter's house, right? He looked exactly like his mother. Yeah, and Wicked West has a lot of problems with YouTube buffering for her. We're having a baking show now? Yes. Guys, I love cooking, but I really love making baked goods. I make all kinds of stuff that gonna make you fluffy. Hold on. What day did Paul get on stand? Paul Simon on stand. Is his last name Simon? It never pops up. Leilani Simon. I'll try Leilani Simon trial. It was early on, like day 3, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, guys, I can't see comments. Let me see. On my YouTube, it doesn't even say I'm live right now. Like, usually to get to the comments, I can click my name, and then my face it'll say live in red, and it doesn't even say I'm live right now. YouTube just be acting funky. I took a long break, health reasons. I occasionally come on mainly because I don't like all those YouTube drama. Family visiting, but awake it down. Oh, Pink fan, I'm so sorry you're having so many health issues. I don't like the drama. I feel you, girlfriend. I hope your health issues get better. I'm glad you have family there visiting, though. So was it day 4 then? Day 4. It killed me when when Paul said, "It's what you signed up for, bro." That's all I could say. That's all I could tell you. He did not sign up for what he had to deal with. Okay. I'm going to play this for a second, Paul again, because I want to hear him again while I'm finishing up putting these in the oven, okay?
Thank you. Doctor, thank you. You're excused.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Doing good, how about you?
And she's really excited for him to come up. Look at her. Watch her. Look, I want to ask you guys, do y'all feel like she's kind of flirty with that dude? Because I do. I think they lean in really close and crap together. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Or is it just me imagining stuff? Look, that dude back there looks like Edward off Twilight. Sitting there.
Raise your right hand, please. The evidence shall be the court and jury of the trial petition shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, step this way.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Good afternoon, how are you?
Doing good, how about you?
Doing pretty well. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Paul Simon.
And you are the defendant's brother?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you mind if I call you Paul?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If you prefer Mr. Simon, let me know.
No, you can call Paul.
Okay. How old are you, Paul?
23.
And what is your city and state of residence? Where do you live now?
I live in Eden, Georgia.
Do you work?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I do construction and I'm a manager at AutoZone.
Did you grow up in the area?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to high school?
New Hampstead.
I want to draw your attention to the fall of 2022.
Mhm.
Do you remember the general time period I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where were you living in the fall of 2022?
535 ⴚ Road.
And whose house is that?
My mother's.
Okay. And where were you staying in that house during that time period?
Upstairs and towards the back side of the house.
When had you started living there?
3 to 4 months prior
Prior to what?
to the incident
Okay. Now, where did you live before that?
with my aunt,
Okay. What's her name?
Jackie.
Okay. So you lived with your Aunt Jackie and then you moved back in with Mom at some point?
Yes, sir.
Were you working in that time period?
Yes, sir. I was working at a warehouse. I can't remember the name. It was Eclipse, I believe.
Okay. Was it the same place that your sister and Danny worked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about a normal day there. What did you do?
We loaded packages up onto trailers and moved
Ruby,
around the
join
warehouse
here?
into different trailers all day, just stacking them and
Hold on, I can't
wrapping
pull
them,
it.
sending them off.
Now, when you moved into your mom's house a couple months before what you described as the incident, were your sister and Danny and the 3 kids already living there?
Yes, sir.
Had Sky already been born at that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me, what was it like living there? With
You
nobody
think
in
she's
the house?
flirting?
Well, pretty much every day
Good. I'm not.
from what I heard and saw, it was just arguing every
You
day.
think so?
I mean, not between the
Let's
kids or
go.
nothing like that, but it was between Leilani and Danny.
Okay. What about your mom?
Whenever my mom was there, they did argue. Quite a good bit.
And who's that?
Why is it pausing?
Leilani and my mom.
Okay. Let's go to the morning of. Well, let me ask you this. Tell me about the kids, the 3 kids, Zane, Quinton, and Sky.
See,
Zane,
it doesn't
Piper,
say I'm off
wanna
for
be in
me
everybody's
either.
business.
See?
Well, I mean,
What
that's
the heck?
average for his age, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then Quentin, he was an angel. Like, you
I'm
could change
here
his
now,
diaper, he'd
though.
lift his butt right up for you. No problem at all with it. You put the diaper, you tell him to lower his butt, he'd lower it, let you clean him all up, no problem at all. Zane, that boy had crap all up his head one time, and Leilani made me clean it in the back of the car. Man, that was a whole. I don't know how I managed that one.
Can I ask you this? Did you participate in the child care at all during your time living in the house?
Kinda. It was on and off. It was whenever they needed me.
Yeah. Tell us about your interactions with the kids.
So a few times I had to take them to doctor's appointments, which wasn't a problem because people was at work, and I happened to have a day off or whatever, So I take them to the doctor's appointment because I didn't have to be at work till 2, and then I drop them off at the babysitter, and then whenever Leilani would need me to watch them, I'd watch them upstairs. I'd bring some toys upstairs in my room and let them play with it. Tell them, hey, that's your area. Don't mess with none of my stuff.
Tell me about watching them upstairs in your room.
They just sit there, play with the toys, want a whole lot of snacks. And of course, I wouldn't give them snacks right away. You ain't about to be all hyped up on me.
Does this include Sky? Or are you talking mainly about Zane and Quinton?
Zane and Quinton, I didn't actually watch Sky. She was still, relatively young, like 3 or 4 months old, somewhere around there. So I didn't actually watch Sky, but I watched Zane and Quinton quite a bit whenever they needed me to.
Did you ever help them, and maybe not because of the shift you work, but did you ever help with getting them dressed in the morning, getting them fed, getting them bathed and put down at night or anything like that?
I bathed them once or twice when I was there. And as far as feeding, I would help with that, but it was more so when I was there, because I was working from 2 to 10. So they usually eat between 6 and 9 at night, give or take those time periods.
And he started saying some nice things about Quinton earlier, and I did not follow up, and I guess I'll do that now. What was your relationship like with Quinton?
Well, he loved me. I mean, he'd come up to me, he'd put his arms over my knees, and I'd just sit there and bounce him for a good hour or 2 till my legs got tired. He weighed a good 20, 30 pounds. But I mean, I loved him. I mean, I'd tell him to shut up. But I mean, that was about as mean as it got towards him with me, you know what I mean? Kids don't want to stop talking.
What did your, during the time period that you're working at Eclipse and working the 2 p.m. shift that you've mentioned, what did a normal day look like for you? Not talking about any particular day, but just kind of give us an example.
I'd get up in the morning between 9, 10 o'clock-ish, usually, and then watch some TV, get up, take my dog out, let him use the bathroom, bring him back in the room, continue watching some TV, and then get ready and go to work. I mean, it was just, either TV or playing a video game.
What about after work?
After work, I'd get off. Just like I said at the police station, I'd get off, roll me a blunt, and go on about my day.
Tell me about.
Okay, I want to watch him, but I've got to go get stuff done before these brownies are done to jump in the shower, and go to bed for church. Because if I take a shower in the morning, I will end up being late. Wait, they already appealed it, and now the TBI can't release Quinton because of the bill. What? Yeah, where did you hear that? I did not approve of his testimony. You're so funny, Emery. Me either. 85 lakhs. Yeah, that's true, criminal man. Hey, why doesn't Danny have his daughter? How does this man laugh in this situation? Alexandria. I don't know. I wish I knew. No, I don't wish I understood, actually. But I know. I have all them here right now. Actually, I have 2 or 3 messages downstairs. Oh, I'm putting it to a conversation. I have to watch Paul again. I want to see what he says again. Not tonight because I'm too tired. But I'm going to end this, guys, so I can get stuff done before these brownies are done and get everything ready so I can go to sleep. Hey, wait, what? Oh. Dang it. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't think he was as much nervous laughing. And it's good to see you, Alexandria. Guys, please don't forget. Dang, you still here, Nicole? You're so quiet. Thank you for still being here. Don't forget to pray for Brady, her mama, in intensive care, and pray for Donna Clark. She's just having a rough time. Pray for Cindy E with her knee replacement surgery. I'm trying to think of everyone that needs prayers. So many people. Keep everyone that needs prayers. Pray for everyone who needs prayers. How about that? So many. Oh, Nicole, you sweet. GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Sweet dreams, Leo King. I could be wrong, and if I am, then I'll apologize. I heard it in one of the chats and was talking about the case. Yeah, I know. I do that too, Lena. I hear stuff in chats, and then you don't know what the heck is right. What is facts or someone making it up and just telling you what they. I don't know. I can't think. I'm too tired. Oh, thank you, Wicked West. No, Matt, I really hope you can get some sleep. I'm really sorry you're having to deal with sick babies still. In a hotel, I got 6 feet in my house. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But you know what? You can look at the bright side and be grateful that you're getting to rebuild and you're going to have somewhere, you're going to have a home. I know, easy to say, right? There's someone else we needed to keep in our thoughts and prayers. Continue to pray for all the victims of the hurricane. And there you go, Dawn. Right there. Rest in peace, sweet baby Quinn. I love you too, Donna Clark. I love all of you. I was probably wondering where you were before we moved off. Is Bomb still alive? Oh, have fun, sweet dreams. All right, love you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. If not, I'll see y'all Monday. Thank y'all for being here. Don't forget to hit the like.